Let's get nasty on a Thursday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 201, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Kerry's already over there with his Tiger Bomb.
I don't know what that stuff is, man.
I don't either, but it works.
Where do you buy
now,
that? It's got to be like someone's basement.
Another country.
It looks like somebody made that themselves.
They may have.
You just got that in Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
I think I can make some of that for you.
Yeah, well, I don't. I'll pass. What?
It's a good choice, Kerry.
But
we get a lot of.
No. Hell no.
We're faced with a lot of decisions throughout the course of the day. You were just faced with a decision there, and I already know you nailed it.
Yeah.
I don't have to see how this plays out.
Nope.
Yeah.
Why are you getting involved?
I know you.
Whatever.
Welcome to the Fast Lane. Shout out to the Snake Pit. That's our Air Alliance team, Studio Cam's YouTube channel. We've got the Air Comfort Service text line rolling, 314-399-9646. You want to leave us a Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop via the Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 mobile app. Great. Anything you want to discuss today, fantastic. Blues back in action. They take on that same Flames team, same location at Enterprise Center tonight. And the pregame will start at 6 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN. We'll have the coverage for you on the game front as well. Blues Radio Network. We're going to talk to Chris Kerber, get some Blues topics over the next 2 hours before Jamie Rivers gets out of here. The Blues and Flames. Jamie, since these two teams play each other close now, you just got 1 day separating them.
Yep.
It almost has a playoff feel to it because of that.
Yeah, it does.
I know that in hockey, since you're playing each team fairly, you've got a couple of days only separating each game. It's not like it's a massive film breakdown like you will get in football.
No.
You're not necessarily game planning, quote unquote, for a team. You've got some tendencies.
Well, you game plan, there's certain tendencies in your game plan
that you need to be aware of.
That you can, as much as you can.
Right, but it's not like Troy Polamalu is breaking down every opponent leading up to a game 7
You don't receive
days.
a book on Monday.
Yeah.
Talking about the outline of your game plan for the game on Sunday.
There you go.
Well, here's the thing. That's probably where we should start. You ain't need to call me. We can get that done.
You want to make a book for every game?
Yeah, you should.
That seems
A binder, more
feasible.
Exact, like a binder, a thick binder that you can get all the information. You got to be able to dissect it and digest it.
Why does it need to be a binder? Why don't we
'Cause-
just give iPads out and we just upload that crap?
Even better. It's a great idea.
That way, if you want to
Save
make a change to something,
just delete it or store it for when you play them the next time.
Ooh.
So you just go to a tab.
you could have the team logo. Is the
Flames,
tab.
there you go. Boom.
Yeah.
What do I need?
Yeah.
Get all the information. You can take
did it
in as
already.
much. Oh, okay.
No, it's fine, Kerry. You're good.
Yeah.
Stay hot. Go.
No. I like the binder.
That
I like
Tiger
to-
Bomb's working. Go.
I like to feel my papers. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Flip that paper in.
Are you a finger licker?
Yeah, every now and then. If the
Yeah.
papers get stuck, I don't want to do it now. I got Tiger Bomb on my hand. I know you're trying to get me. I've been there, done that, brother.
I was just waiting for Kerry to lick it.
Then I can't talk for the next hour.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
My
what I said.
tongue
Your
goes
finger
numb.
licker. I wanted to go, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Nope.
Anyway,
almost, though.
Jamie, is there when you do face an opponent as you're facing an opponent quickly again here, the short amount of time, is there more of a, hey, this is what they did last time, this is what we did? Are there more adjustments to be made when you face an opponent back to back? Or no, it's just you play your game.
What you did last game, you want to kind of repeat, like the good things, right? Hey, we were able to do this, we were able to do this. One thing you cannot do is overthink it, because that is just the worst. Like, if I'm Jim Montgomery and the coaching staff, like, okay, well, this worked really well for us last game. They're going to make an adjustment. We have to totally change that, and we got to do this instead.
Right.
No, hockey is not like that. Hockey is what we did right. We're going to do that again.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to do it even better. We're going to beat them with our game. Not worried about what their game is, what their adjustment is in that situation. There are some things that you can learn from the game before, like certain tendencies. Neutral zone forechecking, offensive zone forechecking, some of their face-off plays, some of their face-off setups. Like, you can learn by watching, okay, going into tomorrow night, when they line up like this or when they dump the puck here, we can do this. Like, there's certain counters you can present. The rest of it, man, if I'm the Blues, your power play had 6 shots on goal. You did everything except score a goal. So you put that in a positive. Even though you didn't score, that was a positive. Your penalty kill killed off 2 penalties, gave up 0 shots on goal. We're not touching that. We're good there, right? Perfect. Your defensive zone was good. You gave up next to nothing as far as high danger scoring opportunities. So let's keep that. Put that away, store that. We're good. Click save, right?
There you go.
Yeah, click save. The only thing you're really looking to do is generate more offense in the offensive zone, which Jim Montgomery's already talked about. They want to have more time of possession in the offensive zone. Get to the inside. Get better, higher danger scoring opportunities. That's it. If you're Calgary, their coach is going, okay, the other night, guys, close game. We played pretty well. We were on a back-to-back situation. Probably ran out of gas a little bit halfway through that game because the Blues were checking tight. And, yeah, it was a good game. We're going to have more energy to start this game. So we're not changing a thing. It's a one-goal game. Neither team is making huge adjustments at this point. The one adjustment that I thought, hat tip, I guess, if it works, is Joel Hofer in for Jordan Binnington. Jordan Binnington, in his last 5 starts against the Flames, I think he's got a .969 save percentage.
It's pretty good.
It's not bad, right? Yeah, it's almost perfect. It's crazy. But, Jim Montgomery sticking to the plan of 2 games Binnington, 1 game Hofer, and they're trying to create more rest for Binnington so that if they do get in the playoffs and they have to ride the goalie, he's the guy and he's going to have plenty of energy and he can steal a series. I would have come back with Binnington, but that's why I'm not a head coach of the St. Louis Blues right now. He is. Joel Hofer's going to get in there. Joel Hofer's record at home is really good, too. So when you look at the numbers on the road versus home, if you're going to play Hofer in one of these 2 games, his road numbers aren't as good. So that would be in Utah, which is another game you need, by the way. All right, flip them. Hofer's going to go against Calgary at home. Binnington will go in Utah against the Utah Hockey Club because Binnington's numbers are pretty good on the road, too.
Speaking of the head coach, Jim Montgomery spoke at pregame skate today, and he was asked whether or not winning the game the other night dictates the lineup moving forward, or at least when you're facing a team back-to-back. Here's Monty.
No, our team is not at the level where we keep the same lineup. It's our lack of consistency when we have success is something that it's just going to be based on if guys are doing the right things out there and giving us a good opportunity at success. You played well, you're going to continue to play, win or lose.
Just what you want, man.
Listen, I love that. Like, as a player, I can respect that. Because now I know where the line is. I know what the expectation is. I know if I do my job properly at a high level, I'm going to play tomorrow or I'm going to play the next day, as opposed to when you are unsure or uncertain, or you have kind of a chaotic front office and a chaotic head coach and group of coaches where you don't know from day to day who's doing what, becomes a little bit frustrating going to the arena every night. Am I dressing tonight? Am I playing? How many minutes am I going to get? I got to be perfect in those 8 minutes that I'm going to get. Whatever the case may be, if I know that I'm playing well, I'm going to continue to play, and hopefully my role grows. As a player, I can accept that, and I can live with it. I know if I play poorly, probably not going to play. It's a thing that you understand, and you can live with it and go on, and you have the best. I think that gives you the best team and the best version of every player on that ice.
This brings me back to my time with the Red Wings. And Anthony, I've talked about it several times to you. Yeah. The Detroit Red Wings, for me, were the very first team to literally tell me what my role was. And when I did that properly, I played. No matter what, whether we won or we lost. We didn't lose very much, but that's fine. And so when I listen to Monty talk about this, that's a player's dream. You ask any player, what do you want most from your coaching staff? Honesty. Because so many guys are so full of crap. No, you're playing great. It's just a numbers thing. If I'm playing great, why am I not playing?
Right.
You're obviously BSing me here.
Yeah.
Or if I go and have a great game, everybody knows they had a good game statistically, the eye test, everything. And you pull me out just because you don't have the balls to bench another player because he's older, got more years contract. So then you just take it out on the same guys all the time. You lose credibility.
Yeah.
So this is huge for the Blues. Monty's creating a competitive culture that's supported with great communication by the coaching staff. And that's all you can ask for as a player. Like Matthew Joseph, he had a great game, a very good game the last game against Carey. Imagine if he got pulled out of lineup. What's that telling him?
Doesn't matter.
And then
What you
Brandon
do.
Saad did not have a
Right.
great game, and then he gets to keep playing?
Yeah.
No. Saad's out tonight. Somebody's going in. We don't know if Neighbor's game time decision, but Walker's going in, Bolduc's going in. Like,
Yeah.
this is the message you want to send to your players.
He talked about that yesterday with us. When I asked him about dating back to his days as the Dallas Stars head coach to now, obviously Boston was in there too. What's the one consistent coaching philosophy that he has? And he mentioned communication several times in his answer to us. I want to make sure that I'm communicating properly to players. The players are bought in that way because they feel like they're a part of things, but I'm also communicating how things are done. Speaking of our conversation yesterday with Jim Montgomery, CD asked him about how necessary it is to win moving forward. Here's his answer.
Talking about it and, discussing it on the bench, like these are moments right now where we got to dig in, okay, they tied it up, let's respond here, because I do find our grit for 60 minutes has been the biggest challenge, and that's normal. And that's the reason why we have been inconsistent. And, we're going to have our grittiest performance of the year tomorrow night because, we're playing a team in Calgary Flames that play hard, that have had success this year. For some people, it's been surprising their success and how well they've done and being in a playoff spot as they are. But that's the team that's in front of us and we're chasing. So we're going to have to increase our grit even tomorrow night to be able to beat them 2 times in a row.
So there you go. There's kind of the full scope of how Jim Montgomery is approaching things tonight and how he continues to approach things, trying to find consistency. He hasn't been satisfied with basically the lack of consistency when they're winning games. So he's trying to find the right formula while also communicating to his team and his individual players. This is my expectation for you. This is how you can find the ice, and this is how you can stay on the ice. So we've kind of covered all of that now as the Blues get ready to take on the Flames for the second time in three nights.
The last thing to kind of put a bow on all of it, it's creating a winning culture, and it's creating players who can hold themselves accountable and know what the standard is.
Yep.
So if you're not meeting the standard and you're benched or you don't play, you can't complain. If you are meeting the standard, you get to play. And that creates that consistency. Because now, do you think Brandon Saad wants to sit in the crowd tonight? No. He's a proud guy that wants to. So what's he going to do tomorrow at practice? He's going to compete. What's he going to do next time he gets in the game? He's going to play harder. What does that do for your team? It makes you better.
Right.
It makes you more consistent. And that's why that's so important.
That's Jamie Rivers. That's Kerry Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. What would you deem to be a realistic and successful season for the Cardinals this upcoming year? Is it just wins-wise, attendance-wise, probably more than 83 wins? Yeah.
I'm going to go with what the text line. Championship.
Successful.
I did mention realistic, right? Yeah. Okay. Realistic. What realistically would be a successful year? How would we categorize that? That's next in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
The only thing I want to hear from DeWitt and Mo at the winter warm-up is an apology to the fans for everything they've done the last 5 to 7 years, because it has not worked out. And the fact that they've been lazy, and now the fact that they're cutting payroll, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's just them wanting to put as much money into their own billfold. And Mo has been just collecting checks for the last, I think, 10 years. But no one's ballsy enough to say it.
I just want to push back on that a little bit. The money's not going into their billfold. It's going to a facility down in Jupiter, and you all have to understand.
Kerry.
This is what.
Oh God,
where
Anthony,
the money's going. Okay,
I thought we explained this to Carey.
Well, now the facility is being built.
Is it?
The pitching machines will be running. They probably have some nutritional things to help the players get better on and off of the field.
You got a Smoothie King that they can pay for. The players can.
It's in the building. It's readily available.
Fit
you got
flavors.
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
The discount.
Yeah. Discount card. Let's be fair.
The whole punch that doesn't do anything.
Your 10th one, once you get to 10, you get a new card. You get half off of a meal.
Get a new card is right. Yeah.
And you get half off of that meal.
Yeah.
Let's be fair here.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's be honest.
So that was the 618 leaving us a mic drop, which we appreciate. Scott Lee Heating Company mic drop. Look, some of what while very skeptical and pessimistic, he's not wrong.
You guys.
I will say this though, and this is something that drives me crazy about the 618 and other people that nobody ever says it. Yeah, we do. We may not say it exactly the way you want us to, but we say it. We have been saying it. You may not have been listening that exact moment, which I don't blame you. You may not listen 4 straight hours a day. You may not go back.
If you don't.
You may not go back to the podcast and listen throughout. You can, but you don't.
Yeah. Podcast is available.
We may not say it exactly the way we want you, but the whole you don't hold them accountable crap, it's played out. It's played out.
I guess, what do you want? I wonder if...
He wants us to say...
You want us to go to the winter warm-up, stand up in front of Mosaic and say, you lie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
All right.
And no, hang on. That will change what?
Nothing.
Because Mo's going to say, okay, well, you're entitled to your opinion.
It won't even change the way that the 618 and others who think that way, it won't even change for them. Because even if we did that, they would still say, you're soft media, you're this, you're that. You don't hold them accountable. It doesn't matter. They want us to constantly pitchfork, go down to Busch Stadium and protest and scream. That's not our jobs, man. We don't do that.
I was just about to say, we're sports talk radio. We're not reporters.
No.
We're not beat writers. We're not article writers. We're not hot takes.
Correct. We do a show. We try to make it entertaining. For some people,
we don't even know
for some
what the hell
people,
we're
it
doing
isn't.
sometimes.
Right.
No, I definitely don't know what to say.
I know, Kerry. I was kind of talking about you.
Okay.
He's doing it in a nice way.
Throw myself. You're going to throw me under the bus. I'll go into there my damn self. I don't need no help. Jamie?
No, let me help you.
What would you guys deem to be
better,
a realistic thing? Realistic, if it's going to be a successful season next year, what would be realistic in your eyes?
For me, it would
championship.
be...
I get it. Okay,
No championship. Honestly, it would be your younger players developing, playing well enough to... I don't think they need to play at an all-star level, but playing well enough to be everyday starters in the major leagues. And that would be Lars Nootbaar staying healthy, playing 130 games, 140 games in left field, preferably. Okay? Victor Scott Orsiani playing... I don't know who's going to be the starter there. I don't know what the metrics they're looking for either one of those guys. I think they're both extremely sound defensively. I think they're both really good on the bases when they get on. Who's hitting better? It probably come down to that. Whichever one, that person playing 130, 140 games in center field. Mm-hmm. Jordan Walker being set in the lineup, whether that's third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. I don't want to see him batting seventh or eighth anymore. I think we're past that. I think this is the time to allow him to move up in the lineup, and you get what you get and you don't have a fit. And you figure out what is he and who is he. And he's playing the same amount of games as those other guys in the outfield. Nolan Gorman, same thing. Getting those at-bats, getting those opportunities. And if you finish with 83 wins next year, that is a hell of a season. I think that is because now you have started the rebuild, you have started the retool, whatever you want to use, and you are going in the direction to be able to have a successful team that puts you in a position to start making playoff runs and hopefully opens your championship window in 2 to 3 years. That's, to me, a successful season. Same number of wins, with younger players playing the bulk of the games, batting in the lineup where they need to bat, having success. Again, not to the all-star level, but the everyday Major League Baseball player level where that guy, he's in the lineup, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever it is. And that to me is a successful season.
That's exactly where I was going to go. I mean, individually, I'm not going to sit here all day and talk about all the 20-some players, like where I expect them to be, because I think we know. I think it's obvious what we expect from Lars and Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn, okay?
Right.
But I would say 83 wins and above. Anything above would be gravy. But if you can duplicate what you did last season, as much as Cardinals fans don't want to hear, it was a terrible season. If you can duplicate that without a Paul Goldschmidt, maybe without a Nolan Arenado, because we don't know exactly where that's going to be. Maybe you'd even do better. Maybe you get 84, 85 wins. I know that's like 2 more wins, but that's all your young players now that are doing that. So imagine what this could be a year or 2 down the road after that. So like 3 years from now, what it looks like. For me, that's a successful season. I'm not going to worry about where they place in the standings and all that. I think 83, 84, 85 wins puts them somewhere to second, third, or fourth.
Mm-hmm. I said this not too long ago. I think one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to the Cardinals, and I usually just stick with the off season, but I actually think this applies to next year as well, like during the regular season. I'm so tired of all the questions. I'm so tired of if this, if that. Start to eliminate questions. And again, I used to look at this just from an off-season standpoint. Can you eliminate the questions that you face on your current roster? And I think the Cardinals do and have done a piss poor job of eliminating questions during the offseason, which is why we sit there during the regular season and continue to ask questions and have topics like, what will we get out of this player? What will this player do? I'm tired of that. So I would love to see what would be a realistic, successful season for the Cardinals in 2025. Can you eliminate the question of what Jordan Walker is, what Nolan Gorman is, what whoever is? Can you eliminate some of these questions so that you're better set up for 2026? Because we just continue to jump on this merry-go-round each and every year with this team. Mm-hmm. And you don't eliminate questions. Do we really know what Jordan Walker is? I don't even know if the guy's an outfielder. Well, he's got good athleticism. Okay. I don't think he is. Some people think he is. The Cardinals think he is. But then the question still lingers. So I would love to see this team eliminate some of these questions moving forward.
I totally agree with that, by the way. I think that would be that really, Anthony, you've said some things on this show. That might be one of the best. I mean, I'm not being a jerk.
That. Yeah.
You're right. No, he's right. Never mind how many wins. Never mind this, that, the other. Let's find out what you really have. Let's find out what Jordan Walker is. Let's find out if Nolan Gorman can play a full season. Is he a third baseman?
Right.
There's so many question marks surrounding this roster. Contreras at first base, question mark.
Exactly. You just create more questions. Yeah. We're going to move Wilson Contreras to first base. Why? We want Ivan Herrera and Pedro Pajes to be. Are those guys full-time catchers? Well, we don't know. We're going to see.
Question mark.
I'm so tired of
the pitching staff, question marks.
Yes.
So for me, I think the question, I don't think it's a question mark. I think the questions have been answered. I think you got the answers. Now it's on to the players to make sure that to see if they can actually do it. If they're unable to do it, The answer is we're moving Wilson Contreras to first base because we
the
let
question
Paul
is, can he be a first baseman?
We don't know. That's on Wilson Contreras.
But that's not an answer.
But there you go.
But the answer in the offseason is this is what I think we got more information this offseason than we did last offseason, which is a step in the right direction.
Did we get the right information though?
You got what you
we got
get.
more
what you
information, but we also got more question marks.
See, to me, and I'm glad you brought up this offseason because I could kind of go down that same route, CD. But all you really have done is you didn't add more questions.
You didn't add, so that's a step in the right direction.
I think you did.
I don't think so.
Right now, there's a question: where's Nolan Arenado going to play?
But think about if they had signed somebody and they threw him into the mix, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still have the same amount of questions. To your point,
but they created
Jamie.
more with the Contreras to first base.
I think they created.
That's fair.
I think they answered some of the questions. In my opinion,
What did they answer?
You know, Jordan Walker is going to be right field.
Yeah, but you don't know if he is a right fielder.
Yeah, that's on Jordan Walker to figure it out.
Is it?
Yeah.
They drafted him as a third baseman,
and they moved him to right field. We know.
Draft him then.
The question: we know he's not going to play third base. I think we are pretty sure about that. Like we know he's not going to play first base. We're pretty sure about that.
I'd rather him be
the
first
answer
base.
is he's playing right field. Right. So that's an answer to one of those questions. What is Jordan Walker? He's your right fielder. Whether you like it or not is
a
not
half answer.
But it's not about.
But it's
about,
a half answer, Kerry.
But it's an answer.
But
you
it's
don't
a half
you
answer
don't have
because
to like the answer.
The second half of the answer is, can he actually play there?
Well, that's when you find out. The answer is this is where he is now. Can he actually do it?
We're splitting hairs. We're both somewhat agreeing in what we're saying here. I'm just saying that you're right. The answer is this is what we're doing, okay? But the second part of all these answers is, can they actually play there?
Correct. I think the off-season questions have been answered. I think the in-season questions are still TBD. Still to be determined. Can he play?
I would agree with that.
What is he doing? What are we doing? He's playing right field. Can he do it? I don't know. We'll find out in a few months.
Yep.
What is Lars Newbar? He's your left fielder. Can he do it? Can he stay healthy? I don't know. We'll find out in a few months. Who's playing first base? Wilson Contreras. Can he play? I don't know. We'll find out in a few months.
Eliminate. So here's, as we come full circle.
But off-season questions have been answered. Regular season questions are still up for debate.
Spring training questions are up for debate.
That's what I think.
But the regular season at this point, if you're not going to be a contender, and you're not, I'm not saying they can't surprise, okay? But if you're not going into this year looking to add either in the offseason at the deadline, which we know that's not what they are, then you bet we better not be having the same conversations next year about Lars Newbar.
You might though, and
no,
then no.
Then
You
that's
might
a failure.
have
Then
you
you
might
failed.
have that question, but then to me, actually you don't have. There you go. The answer
that
is
question
different.
might still be there, but then you can
Now
change the answer.
know.
You
Okay,
can be like, he's gone.
There you go.
Then to me, you've answered that question.
The question.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
you don't know the answer for can a guy do it until you actually give them the opportunity. I think they have made a decision. We're going to actually give people the opportunity to fail or succeed. It's up, and that becomes on the player. That's what we talk about when we're talking about the Blues. Did you play well tonight? Good. You can keep playing. Did you stink? Hey, go upstairs and watch and see how it's done in the right way, buddy. That's how, and I think that's what this season is for the Cardinals. Can Jordan Walker play right field? Hell, I don't know. We're going to find out this year because whether he has 55 errors, guess where he's going to be? Right in right field. Can Wilson Contreras pluck it at first base? Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah.
So I think the questions for the offseason have been answered. Regular season, how well they perform, that's up to the players to figure that out.
All right.
I think we just become best friends.
Yeah, well, we always were.
We were at the beginning.
Yeah, we were at the beginning.
I question you sometimes.
We're not.
The things you say to me during the breaks, I know you love me, but then I'm like, does this guy like me?
Oh, Carey, you should see what I say to people I don't like.
It is true. Yeah.
Anthony, you've seen it.
Yeah, I totally have. Yep. All right, it's Fast on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh has got what's trending next.
Me?
Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues take on the Flames once again tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We'll talk with voice of the Blues right here on the Blues Radio Network, Chris Kerber, at 3:15, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have What's Trending. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
What are the hot topics in the sports world? What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Here's What's Trending.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, sad news today. Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, has passed away at the age of 90. His family said in a statement that he faced a private battle with small cell lung cancer. Just an unfortunate day for those that love Bob Uecker. Obviously, he's in a documentary that we talk about all the time in Major League, but he's going to be missed for sure. What's one of your favorite memories of Bob Uecker, or maybe a favorite call of his?
Well, for me, I know this is cliched, but for somebody like myself that absolutely loves the Major League movies, that was my first introduction to Bob Uecker, because I didn't see him play.
Yeah.
Wasn't in my time. I didn't grow up listening to Bob Uecker in Milwaukee and listening to his calls. I knew him of Major League. Hilarious. So when you branch off of that and you listen to ESPN or Major League MLB.com talk about Bob Uecker, who he was as a player, you listen to some of his speeches. That's just who he is. He was hilarious, and I think he's one of those people that became beloved not just because of who he was as a player, but who he became as a broadcaster, and just how damn funny he was. So I knew of him first as Harry Doyle of Major League.
Yeah.
But I grew to appreciate the fact that that's who he was off camera as well.
So a little older than you, Anthony. I used to watch the Johnny Carson show. My parents, my grandparents, whatnot. And Bob Uecker was like a regular on there. And I remember the first time he came on, it was kind of funny. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm a kid,
Yeah.
My dad then starts to tell me, well, he's a former baseball player and blah, blah, blah. And now he does broadcasting. I'm like, well, why is he on Johnny Carson? So I started listening to him a little bit. And I'll never forget this little quick story. And it was about Bob Gibson. Because Bob Gibson, who was the toughest man and nobody went near him. Bob Uecker was like his best friend. Mm-hmm. Like there's a team picture that floated out today where they're holding hands in the team picture and the organization had to redo the whole picture again. But this story he tells about Bob Gibson. He says, Bob's pitching. He's not having a great game. I call a timeout, walk towards the mountain. Bob says, who are you talking to? He says, I walked right past him. So I think I'm going to talk to the center fielder for a bit. He's like, not getting involved with Bob Gibson when he's in that kind of a mood. He says, I walked right past him, took a few strides, said, I'll tell him in the dugout. Walked back to behind the plate. And
that's great.
At the time, that's a funny story. At the time, I didn't get it because, like Bob Gibson, I'm in Ottawa, Canada,
Yeah.
Now, years later, I saw that again. I remembered that, and I was like, oh, my God, now I get it, why that's so funny.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a memory of mine.
For me, it's Major League as well. Like the movie, I had no clue that he played baseball. I knew nothing about that. I actually thought he was, worked for the Cleveland Indians. I was like, hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And learning that the movie was filmed in Milwaukee, I didn't know that either. Like it was just so many things that from that movie that you just take just a bit outside. He almost took the guy. He almost killed him. What are you doing? Like,
how are these hitters laying off pitches that close?
Right. So and he really brought the movie to life. Like he was an integral part of that movie. So, that's my introduction to him, just how amazing that role was and how excited I was to watch that movie. That's the Bob Uecker that I remember. And to learn, like you said, that he played baseball and all those things years after watching the movie, like, oh, it's pretty cool. It's a learning thing, but for me, that movie has so many quotes in it that we speak about all day long. Mm-hmm. Sorry, the documentary has so many quotes in it that we speak about all day long. It will be unfortunate loss for him and his family and for all the baseball.
For you guys and some younger people out there right now, and even my age bracket, I only got a snippet of like Bob Uecker from some of these things, but go Google or YouTube the Bob Uecker commercials, like the Miller Lite commercials are unbelievably funny. Go YouTube Bob Uecker on Johnny Carson and the stories he tells. Like this guy
Hall of Fame speech.
Oh, his Hall of Fame speech is legendary.
He's talking about this kid taking the kids to the games, and the kids wanted to go home with somebody else, a different player.
A different player. And then he's like, we were beating a team 11 runs in one inning. The manager says, "Hey, Bob, grab a bat. Let's end this thing right now. let's end this hammer, whatever he used for it. It's like basically let's stop this route."
Right. the self-deprecation, man, just hilarious all the way through. Yeah. So rest in peace, Bob Uecker, aka Harry Doyle. That's not Shaquille O'Neal and left. That puppy's out of here. All right. The Blues' goal suppression has been excellent. Certainly was the other day in at home when they played Calgary. We'll get into the what Jim Montgomery has done to really make sure that this Blues team is sound defensively all the way through, especially tonight as they look to win back-to-back games against Calgary. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Tonight, the Blues will take on the Flames. We'll have the pregame show for you right here on 101 ESPN at 6 o'clock and the Blues Radio Network right here, again, on 101 ESPN. We'll have the game coverage for you. Puck will drop at 7 o'clock at Enterprise Center. Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. And Jamie, toward the end of Craig Berube's time here in St. Louis, as well as throughout the time with Drew Bannister, at times it felt as though opposing offenses basically had a power play when they were 5-on-5. Like I'm not being flippant. It just felt as though that the Blues defensively weren't sound. And Binnington, a lot of people, some people will criticize Binnington for certain things. They're like, hey, it's an entire unit that needs to play defensively. So what has not only Jim Montgomery done, because I feel like we tend to only give the coach credit if things are going well, and we only blame him when things are going wrong. But what has Jim Montgomery done from a scheme standpoint, a system standpoint, and then what have the players done differently? Because it looks like from a goal suppression standpoint, this is much better now.
Yeah, so Monty and the coaching staff tweaked a few things with their forecheck, their neutral zone checking, and their defensive zone checking. They just want to be a team that take away a lot more time and space. And that was something that the Blues really weren't able to do with some of the personnel they had in the last year and a half or so.
Why is that?
Some of them were just too slow afoot.
Okay.
Not able to get there. And so if you're not able to get there and you're trying to be aggressive, it puts you in no man's land, which means that you're not able to cause anything. You can't make a play defensively, but you're also not covering another guy behind you. So it's kind of easy. Mm-hmm. It's like playing hot potato with a little kid that can't quite reach the ball, you know?
Yeah. Keep away.
Keep away, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's why they shrunk their defensive zone and said, we're just going to eat pucks and wait for a turnover, and teams are going to skate all over the place and do whatever they want. And when they come to the middle of the ice, we're going to defend hard. And it worked for a bit, for the most part. But now what Army was able to do is add speed to this lineup and add size to this lineup. That's huge. And when you have speed and size, like in a Philip Broberg, that guy takes away time, so you can't get anywhere against him. Cam Fowler, pretty big guy, not as big as Broberg, skates well, takes away time and space. Yeah. Ryan Suter, experienced guy, takes away time and space. Colton Parayko, this guy has been a stud. For the last 2 years, he has been unreal. His game has evolved so much that defensively, he's almost unbeatable. And then offensively, he's added a whole layer of game to his arsenal. He's supporting the attack. He keeps pucks alive in the offensive zone. He's a one-man breakout. I've called him that for 4 years now. That's been a huge difference. In fact, Jim Montgomery was asked about Colton Parayko following the last game against the Flames, and I'll let the coach tell you what he thinks.
He was dominant. I thought he was the best player on the ice, and that's what we need from him. It's what he's been giving us. He's been excellent for the majority of the season. His separation skating, especially in the D zone, he'd kill plays and take a couple of strides, separate, and then we could break out easily. His gaps and just his shot first mentality in the offensive zone.
Yeah, he's a number one defenseman right now. Just the evolution of Colton Parayko has been really fun to watch. Is he still like a number one defenseman in the NHL? He's got to be a top 10 guy at this point. If you're building a team, you want a guy like Colton Parayko, which is why he's playing for Team Canada and the Four Nations. That is not an easy team to make.
Yeah, right.
It's the best of the best of the best, and he's there. So Colton Parayko has done a fantastic job of being the number one defenseman amongst this group, but overall the whole group has been very good.
I've been hearing you say for a couple of years now how because there were complaints, Blues fans, trade Colton Parayko, get him out of here. We don't like him.
Worst contract.
Yeah, worst thing we've ever done. And you said the moment you trade a guy like that, you're then looking for a guy like that. And now I think
by the way, they don't exist.
Yeah, correct.
6'6" skate like that?
Yes.
They really don't exist.
Just get another one.
Yeah, I wish you could. But you've been saying this for a few years. This is a guy that is not a guy you just replace so easily. And I think fans are starting to see and appreciate the play. And it also happens, I don't know if it's if it coincides with him being more aggressive offensively. Maybe that's the part where people are starting to respect his game more because now he's shooting, he's scoring, and for years, just shoot it. You're big, strong, just shoot it. and now he's shooting, he's scoring. He had a goal the other night against the Flames. Like, those are the things that I think fans are starting to appreciate more. But the defensive side of things is what he's always been really, really good at and excelled at, and now people are starting to respect it and appreciate it more.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I feel somewhat vindicated every time. Honestly, every time Colton Parayko makes a play, I sit there being like, hey, Dom Lasician, what do you think of that, pal? Chew on that, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, and one guy, too, I don't think we can leave him out, is Tyler Tucker. We talked about all the veteran guys and all the good players.
Right.
Tyler Tucker, who was sent down following training camp, played really well in the minors, has come back up, and he's added something that this defense corps has needed. And in fact, I'm going to let Jim Montgomery talk about Tyler Tucker. Here's what Jim Montgomery, head coach of the Blues, has said about Tyler Tucker.
When he first got here, I thought he was a little nervous, but wanted to make an impression on giving us an identity and also like showing that he wants to be here. I mean, anyone that's going to go and fight Olivier in Columbus, I mean, you know, if he's not the toughest guy, he's one of the 3 toughest guys in the league. That's saying, I want to be here. I want to be a Blue. He kind of fits that mentality of that blue-collar, Plager-style defenseman, that, you know, Barrett Jackman type guy that Blues fans have loved for years here. And now I've seen a guy that, because what we heard down below is that he was playing really good 200-foot hockey, and that's what we're seeing now. Like, he's making really smart plays with his head up on breakouts and neutral zone counters at the offensive blue line. The game-winning goal, a good example, but it's not the only play he made there. And we see him having a swagger to him physically, eliminating plays, killing plays, holding onto the ozone by pinching pucks hard on walls. That's allowing us to build our team game.
Bobby Plager, Barrett Jackman. Those are 2 names we just heard those names as to what Tyler Tucker emulates. Now, Monty didn't say he's just like them. Okay, that would be very difficult to try and live up to those expectations.
Right.
But when you have a coach who, again, knows the history of the Blues, knows the importance of Bobby Plager, knows how instrumental Barrett Jackman has been to this franchise, and now he's got a guy that he thinks it fits that mold a little bit, you're going to give him opportunity to play. And that's why you're seeing Tyler Tucker in the lineup more often than not. And he's a big dude. And he adds a little bite. Obviously, he's not afraid. Like that Matthew Olivier, he's a killer. Mm-hmm. And Tucker was like, okay, I'll go you. And then Lozon, who took liberties on Jake Neighbors, that Nashville game. He's a big dude, too. Tyler Tucker goes toe-to-toe with him. Like, it's different. It makes a difference to your team when you've got a guy that can go out there and throw the mitts down and say, we've had enough of your crap.
Right.
And then he backs it up with really good hockey. You can play him a regular shift. So, yeah, Tyler Tucker slowly working his way into, the hearts of many Blues fans, but he's definitely worked his way into the good books with the coaching staff.
That's Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Based on what we've seen this college football playoff, can college football fans even trust the rankings moving forward, the preseason rankings? That's next on 101 ESPN. Time Check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. CD, based on what we've seen in the college football playoffs this year, can college football fans really take anything from the rankings, whether it's preseason rankings, regular season rankings, rankings before the college football playoff starts? Do you think that we can trust what the college football playoff committee or the AP or anybody that does the the USA coaches poll and all that? Can we really trust those rankings based on what we're seeing?
I think I didn't have a problem with the college football playoff ranking and how everybody was set up based on how they told us the everything would weigh out. The top 4 seeds, they would be the conference champions of the highest conference, right? The seeded of the highest conference. So I had no issue with that. My issue is with the preseason polls.
Sure.
Like, that's been my issue. You have Florida State ranked in the preseason poll. You had Michigan ranked
last year.
Correct. So sometimes you're basing what you think the future of a program will look like based off of what they did last year. That to me is a bit of a problem. I would like to see there be no rankings until the first week of football is played. Like, go into the season, you can have an idea, but if it helps, it can help a team, right? You can say, oh, we beat a number whatever team. They were preseason ranked. They stunk. Like, they weren't a good team. So for me, I would like to see the rankings start after week 1. Hell, you can go to week 2. Get 2 weeks of football to understand.
Having like a month or 2 months even.
Either maybe a month. Have a true understanding of what each team is, and maybe when they bring out the college football rankings, that's when they have all of the rankings. I don't know. I know we've gone and had the preseason rankings for years, for decades. It's always been there. But I think because of how important it is now in terms of where you are at the end of the year, if you're ranked to start the season, it takes you longer to get the hell out of the way, which means it takes someone else longer to get into the picture, which I think is unfortunate and unfair.
I think it's interesting that the top 4 teams in the nation aren't in the picture anymore, right? They weren't even in the semifinal. If we go back to previous years, who's to say that the best team at the end of the season, could have been in this situation years before they even started this.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it questions who should have won the national championship, but it does take into consideration, you got to take it into consideration.
To Marsh's point, there's always been this argument against expanding the college football playoff because, well, don't we know?
Yeah.
This was the team that was supposed to win. This is the team that should have won. You look at this past year, we've been talking about it. It would have been, if under the old format, it would have been Oregon. Mm-hmm. It would have been
Georgia.
Mm-hmm. It would have been probably Texas, even though they lost the SEC title game to Georgia, just because, look, there is an SEC bias, and Texas probably had the resume to still hold up.
Yep.
And then
probably Notre Dame.
Maybe Notre Dame, maybe Penn State. I wouldn't overlook Ohio State, even though they didn't have
it wouldn't have been
the
Ohio
Big Ten.
State.
They would just have the one loss.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have been Ohio State. They would have had 2 losses. Oregon and Michigan. The Michigan game would have kicked them.
Oh, that's right. They lost to Oregon. Yep,
they would have kicked them clean out of the picture.
That's right. So either Penn State or Notre Dame.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Either Penn State, the loser of the Big Ten that did put up a good fight, or Notre Dame,
who lost to a MAC team.
Who lost to...
Right.
So maybe they do get in.
I think they do get in. I think they do get in.
You're right.
No, he was right. He was being positive about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Either way, you wouldn't have Ohio State, who was now favored heavily, might I add, to win the national championship this year.
And there's a year that comes to mind. It's the year that Mizzou lost to Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, when then LSU took on Ohio State in the national championship. And both teams, I believe, had at least 2 losses that year.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a playoff in that year. Like, Mizzou, they have a clunker of a game in the Big 12 championship against a team that didn't even make the national championship. Like, what would things have looked like back then? Could that have changed a program's trajectory moving forward if they had this college football playoff? Not even 12 teams, but even 4 teams back then.
Right.
Like, what would that look like? What would college football look like now if they had this implemented 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
But
I think it works. I think the format works.
Yeah, so if we go back, okay, here's what I'm thinking about college football. It's evolving on the fly in real time. The reason being NIL. Because if you go back 10 years, you probably still have what you would deem to be the top 4 teams or the top 4 teams, because those are the programs that everybody's going to, the blue blood programs and all that stuff, who were, wink, not paying their players at the time.
What do you mean, wink?
Well, Anthony, some of these people had houses and cars and just, they appeared out of nowhere.
Bags of money.
Bags of cash just falling on the ground.
Weird.
But my point is that it was much easier for the committee or college football in general to find the top 4 teams or the top 2 teams at one point way back when than it would be now.
True.
And so I think that this was the first year of the big playoffs, we'll call it. They'll tweak it. They'll make some adjustments. They'll have learned from their rankings. They'll have learned from letting certain teams make the playoff just because they had, they didn't have a bad loss or whatever, or the big win, or however they deem some of this ranking stuff. They'll know a little bit better moving forward. And I think that over the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to get the best version of this to where you will actually have the best 12 teams in the nation competing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You're right. College football has evolved. The things now are more even as they have been in ever.
It's the most parity I've ever seen in college football.
Most parity in college football. The tables, honestly, the scales have been kind of evened out. You'll never get a situation where everything is totally fair. You won't get that in the NFL, quite frankly, because March, your Vikings just went on the road as a 14-win team. On the road. They had to go on the road in the playoffs. Why? Because they didn't win their division.
Yeah.
You won't get that. There's no way around it. I mean, there's certain teams that either they play in a down division or maybe 2 starting quarterbacks in their division got hurt and opened up the door for that. So you'll never, it's football, right? You never get perfect schedules and perfect conferences and perfect divisions. But this in college football now, based on NIL, based on the transfer portal, you now have as even a field as you're going to get in college football, and I'm here for it.
Well, you heard me this year. I was not even a sometime, sporadic at best college football fan.
Yeah,
I'd watch a national championship game, probably about half of it. Playoffs, yeah, but this year I watched more college football than I've ever watched before, for the simple fact that every week I didn't know who was actually going to win.
Right.
That each team had a chance.
And you still have people, which drives me crazy. You still have people that try to make the argument that the regular season counts less. No, it counts more. It counts more than ever now. It's just they're giving you, Ohio State, you stubbed your toe there against Michigan. If you have the rest of the resume, you still have a chance to get in. You may have to play on the road. You may have to play in the first round. But we'll give you a little bit of a chance. I don't mind that.
Nope.
Because it is football, and we're talking about 18, 19-year-old kids. They may have a bad game. If you have 2 bad games, you're Alabama, you have 3 bad games, I'm sorry, you're out.
Right.
But under the old, you got to be perfect. Okay, so some team that had a soft-ass schedule ran the tables. They're better now? They're better than the team that stubbed their toe?
Biggest issue.
So people making the argument that the regular season matters less now, I completely disagree. I think it matters more. You can lose 1 game. You can't. Good luck losing 2, and if you lose 2,
you're out. You're done. Or you're under the old format.
Under the old format, for sure. Yeah. Under this format, you still get an Ohio State team in. They got to earn it, and they have.
Well, and you get the group of 5 team in there as well, because kids go there, they go to those places under the old format. You're never even sniffing a chance, unless you're Cincinnati,
SMU, like you're not even being considered,
right? Like even back when the BCS was around, Boise State, who had good teams. Who's to say that Boise State team that beat Oklahoma? Imagine them in a 12-team playoff. Who knows what they could end up doing? Or UCF, who declared themselves national champions.
Right?
They didn't even get a chance, right? I think now it's just so much better for college football that all these teams are getting an opportunity to play for a national championship. And to your point, you might have one stinker of a game, but that doesn't necessarily define who you are as a football team.
Right.
Clearly, we're seeing that right now with Ohio State. And I think they've gotten better since losing.
Mm-hmm.
And teams do that. They figure out what they did wrong. And we've talked about that multiple times leading up to now. They figured out what they did wrong against Michigan, and they're doing the complete opposite. And they're winning football games, and they're doing it pretty convincingly, I think.
Oh, yeah. They've blown everybody out except for Texas. And Texas was, that was a game where, I forget what the spread was. I think it was 4.5 or something like that, maybe 5.5, something. That was under 6. So that was a pretty, not an even matchup, but that's a game that should have probably came down to the end, and it did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like what college football is doing.
I'm excited.
All right, I'm excited.
I'm excited.
We've got Chris Kerber up next. He's going to join us to talk a little Blues and Flames here on 101 ESPN.
Well, it's nice to be able to get out in the sun today, isn't it, folks? Chris Kerber with you here. And don't forget that when you get back inside, you want that house, you want that furnace, you want that HVAC unit running perfectly. If you haven't called Classic Air Care and had that unit checked sometime within the last year, call them. There's still a lot of winter left, and we haven't even found the groundhog. So with that in mind, get them over to your house and have them do a maintenance check. You got to take care of these things just like you take care of your car, just like you change the water in your fish tank. You have them come to your house. They make sure that everything's running, it's vacuumed out, it's clean, and that prevents major repairs that could cost you lots of money. They've got appointments available. They've got quick turnaround times. If you don't want to book online, they've got people that answer the phones, which is something I absolutely love, talking to people. And they've got a 4.8 rating on Google. You want to see how good their service is? Just click on the 5 stars right at the top of their website and just read how many reviews and how great it are and the customer service you're going to get.
Get them in there. Make sure you don't have any problems with that furnace and HVAC unit for the rest of the winter. Call Classic Air Care or go online at classicaircare.com.
This is Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Kerry Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Calgary and Thompson phone line where we got our guy Chris Kerber on the line. Kerbs, how are you?
Anthony, doing well today. How are you guys?
Good, good. Especially coming off of that win for the Blues over the Flames the other night, and we got Calgary once again. So when it comes to a rematch that really was played just, 2 nights ago, what's the most interesting aspect about the rematch for you?
Well, I'm a 2-1 score I thought was real fascinating. I think one of the more intriguing aspects is you're going to have each team having different goaltenders tonight. So there's going to be that aspect of it. How does that change the game? How does Wolf play the puck or steer the puck versus Vladar? The same thing with Hofer versus Bennington. And little things like that can really change what might happen on a forecheck, where guys might stop along the walls, things along those. And then from there, that could change how things get impacted in the defensive zone or maybe how you might force turnovers and get some more offense. So to me, that's the big one. And then honestly, I don't know if Jamie agrees with this or not, or maybe it's just sports psychology baloney. But I really do think that sometimes the game of hockey with the way it's played is you can have all the X's and O's, you can have, skill. I sometimes think that this game really just comes down to heart and who wants it and who's going to bring the heat. And honestly, that's the biggest thing for me. The Blues know that in the last game Calgary had played the night before they beat Chicago. They had played a team where you don't have to be anywhere near your best to beat them. And then they came in and they got beat. They had a rest day, a day of practice, and now a good morning skate. I think they're going to be even better, and I think the Blues have got to be just the team that's more hungry tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly it plays a huge factor in it. And another thing that I thought was really amazing is to hear Jim Montgomery talk about why certain guys are in the lineup or out of the lineup and how he communicates with those guys, basically letting all the media know, what the standard is these days. And that leads me to my question is, what are your thoughts about what Monty said regarding that? And then follow up with that is, what are your thoughts on Brandon Saad finding his way out of the lineup again?
Jamie, I don't know about you. And in all the years I've been working around coaches and listening to press conferences, I had never heard that comment from a coach before. Honestly, I had never heard that. That's what every now and then, you hear sports talk, you hear, cliches, and then the coach says something, you're like, the hell did he just say? And what an honest assessment it was. He goes, no, we're not that team that's ready and good enough where, and consistent enough where it's just you play the same lineup and you go with that just because you won. And I thought that's interesting because to me, the way I interpreted that, and then when you look at the changes, obviously we don't know if Jake Neighbors is in or out or a game time decision. Okay, so that could put Texier, that could put Saad, back in the lineup. But even in a 2-1 win, Jim Montgomery didn't see enough from some players to keep Nathan Walker out of the lineup. And you can make the case, how in the world did Nathan Walker find himself out of the lineup anyway, right? So I think that this is a coach that's pushing the buttons, still pushing the buttons of players and saying it's not about wins or losses, it's about processes. And I still saw reasons to make lineup changes. And it also shows you, to me, that they've got some interchangeable parts and people will, needing to take advantage of an opportunity. And real quick on that front, if you look at it, you had to think coming into this season that Nathan Walker might be your 13th or 14th forward, right? And at the beginning of the year, he was in the lineup, then he was out because they're trying to get other guys going. Nathan Walker made it where he's in your top 12, okay? Consistently in your top 12. He took somebody's spot, and now those guys are fighting for some other spots. So that's what he's trying to see from those other guys. The Brandon Saad one is fascinating. I mean, look, You know you've got a proven 20-goal scorer. You know you've got a Stanley Cup champion. You know you've got a veteran player. They liked what he was doing for a little while, and to go from the top 6 to a healthy scratch, I mean, having not asked him the specific question, I got to think that that's simply saying, okay, we need more from you, and at some point we got to see it. I don't know how else to look into that one, to be honest with you.
Curbs, we had Jim Montgomery on yesterday, and he said one of the biggest issues they've had is playing with grit for 60 minutes. And you kind of mentioned that with the heart and effort of a team. What do you think the ceiling is of this team if they're able to play with that heart, that effort, that grit for an entire 60 minutes plus?
Well, look, I don't think that this team is built for that grit, if I'm being really honest with you. To me, this team has played all season long like a 500 hockey team. I mean, and it's the old Denny Green, right? You are what your record says you are. And until they know the ingredients of what it's going to take, and they've talked and met with each individual player about what they're looking for. So the ceiling, yeah, I do think that because of the goaltending and some of the veterans and horses on defense, especially since the Fowler trade, I do believe that the St. Louis Blues, if they play consistency, are a playoff caliber team. Maybe not a Cup championship caliber team yet, but they are a playoff caliber team the way Jim Montgomery is coaching them. Are they designed and from top to bottom, do they have enough of that mental grit to bring that heavier style of game that you needed? Well, we haven't seen that, and that's what Jim Montgomery's trying to pull out of them.
Kirby's talking about heavy style of play. I found it interesting that Jim Montgomery, in talking about Tyler Tucker, brought up 2 names, Bobby Plager and Barrett Jackman. Now, nobody's comparing Tyler Tucker to either of those guys, and we're not holding him to that standard. But the fact that Monty brought up those guys' names, knowing the history that they have with the Blues, and then talking about Tyler Tucker, and what does that tell you about what this coaching staff views Tyler Tucker as a player? And secondly, what have you seen from Tyler Tucker here recently that you really like?
I think, again, if you remember, like you're talking about a young defenseman, right? You're talking about a late-round pick, too, guys, that is finding an NHL career, and that doesn't happen a whole lot. And what is one of the hardest positions to learn and become really good consistently, which is a defenseman in the National Hockey League. So he started the season. He played well enough to make the opening night roster last year and scored the first goal of the season in that game in Dallas, right? And then only played about 50 games. He found his way in and out of the lineup. Matt Kessel came up last year, played really well under Drew Bannister, and basically took Tyler Tucker's spot. And so now, because of roster management, because of control and not potentially losing a guy, Matt Kessel was sent down, and Tyler Tucker got the call back up. All right, so now you've got that internal competition, kind of like we were talking about the forwards with Perunovic and Tucker, right? And Tucker has stepped up and brought an element that is so easy to see that this team needs, which is what we were just talking about, that grit. And so when he had an opportunity in Columbus to drop the gloves with Olivier, even though the fight didn't last that long, he dropped the gloves with Olivier. That earns you more time in the National Hockey League and earns you more time in the lineup. And he's going to have to do it some more. It's not like he's at a level where that's going to happen. You talk to enough people, that's going to have to happen some more. But if Tyler Tucker realizes, and I think he's starting to, that this is the kind of role they need me, and oh, by the way, I'm big enough to be able to take some lumps, and oh, I'm big enough to be able to dish them out. Again, when you look at opportunity, there's an opportunity for that style of defenseman with the St. Louis Blues, and he's got all the attributes to fill it. So if you want to stay in the lineup, fill it. And so far, he's been doing it. He's taken advantage of that opportunity.
Chatting with play-by-play man Chris Kerber here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kerbs, tonight is Riz Show night, apparently, at Enterprise Center. Still don't know why we don't get the Fast Lane, night at the Blues.
Yeah,
but
I hear it's in the works, but still.
Yeah. We may have to just go ahead and push forward. Just to let you know, Riz, Kerbs, that even though it's the Riz Show night, it's presented by the Fast Lane because they lost the Pick'em Challenge.
So Riz Show night is presented by the Fast Lane.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you mention it on the Blues Radio Network tonight, just make sure it's presented by the Fast Lane.
That night This is 5 years in a row where it has been the largest selling theme night.
Son of a.
Not sure we needed to hear that.
Yeah, Curbs. I mean,
Guys, listen, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to analyze that for you. I'm just dropping dimes and facts. So,
that hurts more.
You have, if we do start a fast lane, there's some serious work that we got to do, right?
Yeah.
Because they've taken that over. So when you can say that the Riz Show night has been more popular than Star Wars, where they're off and running. But I, though, being part of both teams, will still make sure that I honor Bet, because I don't believe in welching, and I don't believe in and I believe in standing up. So tonight on the air, it would be the Riz Show night presented by the Fast Lane.
Thank you, Curbs. All right, good man. All right, appreciate it.
If you're telling me the truth and that's the bet, I think it's only fair. Who am I to go against a wager?
Hey, that's the punishment.
Yeah, it is 100%
They'll
true.
be saying that down the hallway here, and I think we want to be accurate, right?
Listen, fellas, I got your back on that, and I believe in that integrity.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Curbs. We all appreciate that. All right. Hey, have a great call tonight. Thank you.
All right, have an awesome weekend, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
YouTube sounds good.
Bye.
I know Curbs. He'll follow through with that.
I think he will.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it at all.
I didn't need his statistic there at the end.
I didn't need to know how successful that is. No,
but
there's a little bit of a shot there, but that's okay. Yeah. It was a shot. Was it motivating us? Maybe he was pushing us to be better.
That's true.
That's the way I want to look at it.
Yeah. I think Curbs wants to push us to be the best that we can be.
I mean, it's the best theme night because there hasn't been a fast lane night.
That's right.
You got to look at it. You got to look at it in
they don't know that the fast lane night's going to be free beer.
What?
We just became the most popular.
Free beer?
Yeah, even one. Imagine that.
Yeah. Lucky winner.
Yeah.
You won a free beer. We don't know who you are. But
one of you,
not all of you.
Free beer.
It'd be fun that one person in every section we buy their beer for the night. One person.
I like that.
How many
idea.
sections are there?
Who cares? I've seen your bank.
There's over 60. There's over 60 portals.
Again,
It's
Jamie,
not 60,
how many
is it?
sections?
It's like 30 sections, isn't it? Is that right?
Well, just expense it. Tell me.
There's
I get it.
I think there's over 60
thinking.
portals
Well, we're not doing
in
portals.
the Enterprise Center.
We're not doing portals.
No, we're not doing
Yeah,
portals.
one section like 130 or not like
Like the whole
but
thing.
the whole thing,
up.
all the way up,
like
not just the.
130, 230, 330. We
There you
pick
go.
one win
One
out of
winner.
like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, Jamie.
I mean, there's no negative behind it.
No, there's
we're
not.
offering free beer to
To somebody.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm sure they'll love that.
I'm sure they would too. Yeah.
Great.
Be one of the biggest nights.
Oh, yeah.
It never, Bob. All right. Did Mizzou miss out big time when it came to this specific college football playoff? That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie and I are big fans of Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation, and we're big fans of his son, Jordan, who joins us right now on the line right now. And Jordan, wanted to talk to you about cash-out refis and debt consolidation. What can you and your dad offer our 101 ESPN listeners?
Hey, guys. So, yes, right now, you're seeing after the holidays, inflation's up, people have a lot more to spend money on. Those credit cards are coming in, and they're coming in hot. So those monthly payments that you're making on them, they get too overwhelming. Time to look at a debt consolidation. cash out loan on the bagel loan. We're not going to charge you any closing costs. We'll cover your title fees, cover appraisal fees, and it's going to lower your monthly outflow. So it's time to look at it as rates continue to rise on those credit cards and interest rates.
Yeah, that's great advice there. And it is a huge problem. People coming out of the holidays, Anthony, we all go through this. The credit cards get used, and then you're trying to find a way, how can I get back on track here? Give them a call. Give Jordan a call. Give Stewie a call. They're going to walk you through it. They're going to help you. I purchased a home, used a bagel loan on that, and I can tell you that it's legit, 100% legit, and it's so easy, and it helps tremendously. So please pick up the phone, call or text Jordan or Stewie at 314-324-4440.
Again, that number, 314-324-4440.
Yeah, you get Jordan or you get Stewie. If Stewie's on vacation, he's trying to get a suntan right now, don't worry about it. Jordan's got you covered. He'll take great care of you. So please call that number. If you can't remember that number, what can you do, Anthony?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. After a 2-1 victory the other night over the Calgary Flames, the Blues take on the Flames once again tonight, and you can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. You'll hear Chris Kerber on the call tonight on the Blues Radio Network. We just got done talking with Kerbs. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. We talked earlier about the college football playoff. We're going to get back into that, except for we're going to talk about Mizzou. Did Mizzou severely miss out this season by not making the college football playoff? That's next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga. Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Football National Championship will be played on Monday night as Notre Dame takes on Ohio State. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Now, Marsh, you have been kind of banging this drum here with Mizzou, missing out on the college football playoff. They didn't have the resume. They didn't have the season. They didn't live up to a lot of people's expectations this year. I thought they were a playoff team. Turns out they weren't. Now, for you, though, you kind of have pitched this idea. What?
You thought they were a playoff team
coming into the year.
Oh, okay.
No, not at the end. No,
I mean,
as soon as I got boat raced by Texas A&M, that went out the window.
I was.
No, yeah, at the start of the year, I fully admit, I thought they were a playoff team coming in. Mm-hmm. Now, Marsh, you, after watching what has transpired in the college football playoff, you've had the kind of this thought that, look, Mizzou missed out on a huge opportunity here. Why is that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was teams that probably shouldn't have been in there, like looking back on it, based on how they performed. Now, the record says otherwise in the regular season, but I just felt like Mizzou, if they were to get in this, maybe they had a shot to do something. I'm not saying they're going to go to the national championship or even go to the semifinal, but just to be in it, I think it would be huge for the program. And I thought it was a missed year, especially with the parity this season. Who's to say next year a lot of teams dominate and it becomes even harder? Who knows, right? And you mentioned the Texas A&M game. I think at that point we were like, okay, yeah, this team's not making the college football playoff. Yeah. But they still could have.
Right.
They were a 2-loss team heading into, South Carolina. If you win that game, you're in the playoff. You're in the playoff with a 2-loss season.
You think so? You think they still would have made the playoffs if they?
They're an SEC team.
No,
I don't think they're in there.
No, I think they're in
because their losses to that point would have been A&M and who?
Alabama. They're a 2-loss SEC school.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think they get in with a win against South Carolina. I don't think the resume was good enough at that point.
I don't know. Do you take a 2-loss SEC school or do you take a 2-loss SMU?
That's a good point.
But Alabama was the team that was being considered, and Alabama would have had the win against Mizzou.
But they lost.
But they had 3 losses.
They had 3 losses. They lost against Oklahoma there. They were a 9-3 team. He's saying if Mizzou was 10-2 going into that final week and not having to play in the SEC championship game, you are probably ahead of SMU.
And you're in.
You're dancing.
Losses
you're dancing
at
Anthony.
Alabama and at
all right, so let's
Texas
say
A&M, because I feel like Illinois would have been in as well had they not lost to Minnesota at home. Like your 2 losses for Illinois were at Oregon and at Penn State.
Yeah. Plus
but then you lost another to Minnesota at home.
Right.
So
and you had the good MAC win too there.
I don't think they took that into consideration.
I'm sure they did.
I don't think so.
Let's play this out though.
Fire up chips.
Yeah. Let's play this out. Let's say Mizzou does get in. Let's say they get boat raced like Tennessee did.
They probably do.
Is that good for the program just because you're in? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I think it's good because you're in.
Just because you're in?
100%. You made the college football playoffs. Bottom line.
And that was the expectation heading into the year, too, was to be one of the teams in the 12-team playoff.
See, I disagree, too, because the way I look at Tennessee now is you're frauds. You wasted my time. I hate you. I hope you never make the playoffs again.
You could say that for a lot of the teams,
You would say that
though.
about Indiana as well, wouldn't you?
No, because they didn't get boat race. Like
Anthony, that game sucked against Notre Dame.
They scored 2 touchdowns.
By 10.
Yeah, but
Ohio State just scored again against Tennessee.
They scored at the end of the game.
I know.
Nobody was watching. People turned it off.
I don't view that Indiana loss like I do the Tennessee loss. They got crowded. They weren't close.
Anthony, that's like saying if the Vikings would have scored in the fourth quarter late in the game, it would have been a closer game. The Vikings and the Hoosiers had the same exact fourth quarter mindset. We're not trying to win with our season on the line. They were punting. And their coach even came out and said, we're punting because our offense stunk. With the season on the line.
I view the Vikings loss like the Tennessee loss. You weren't in it ever.
That's not even
Indiana
true.
wasn't in it ever either.
What, did you even watch that game?
Yes, I did.
Indiana scored.
Notre Dame's offense stunk that night.
They were up 27-3, and Indiana scored the last couple of last few minutes of the game.
Whatever. What I'm saying
I don't know
is,
what your problem is with this right now.
He's angry.
He's angry at teams that made the playoffs.
He likes Indiana.
No,
did
I don't
like
like
IU.
it.
Yeah, you do.
Here's the difference. Do
He's
you want to
mad
know
at
the
teams
difference?
that made the playoffs.
No, hold on. You want to know the difference is? These two guys, Marsh and Carey, crushing SEC teams all the time. There's a bias. I don't view it. Indiana's like, cute story. Big Ten, nice Big Ten team, had a nice year. Basketball school got in. Tennessee, frauds. We're the SEC.
I don't disagree with that.
You got boat raced. Thank you, Carey.
I don't disagree with that.
Prove me wrong. I just got him on my side.
You did. However, I'm not on your side when it comes to, like, it's worse if Mizzou made the playoff and got boat raced. It's not worse. You're one of 12 teams that made the playoff.
Nah. Not like that.
You're out of your mind
Not
right
like
now.
that.
You're out of your mind.
No, I'm not.
Like, I still love you, but you're so far out in left field.
man.
I view Tennessee. I don't ever want to see Tennessee in it again. That's how I feel.
Okay, if you don't like Tennessee, fine. But get a better argument.
I have my argument.
I think it's fair to say that both teams stunk. Indiana and Tennessee.
Yeah, if you want me to say
SMU was even worse.
Yes, Indiana stunk. Yes. If you want me,
don't
if you want me to
start
say
that. No,
if you
don't
want
take
me to
that,
say
'cause
that,
when he does
Indiana
that-
did stink.
When he does that, I know what he's doing right now. No, stop. I've seen you do it for years. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. They stop.
I'm conceding.
I'm conceding.
saying
You're not, though.
I don't believe you.
You're
Hold on.
patronizing him.
Timeout. That game stunk. Notre Dame's offense sucked that night outside of one run from Jeremiah Love. Okay? So everybody's like, Anthony didn't watch the game. Did you watch it? Because Notre Dame's offense was terrible outside of one 98-yard run by our boy Jeremiah Love.
Unfortunately, I did watch the game. It was a terrible game.
Yes. It was the first college
But it
football
was
playoff.
terrible because of Indiana.
But I'm not even focused on that game. I'm focused on his comments.
You were bringing up Indiana.
No,
I
I'm
was
not.
bringing up Tennessee.
I'm bringing up the
I
fact
don't think that Mizzou getting into the playoffs and then proving that they didn't belong is good for the program. Call me crazy.
So
That
getting
is
in,
crazy. That's
not getting in and not making it.
So,
this
but
game.
hang on, Kerry. Let's put a bow on this.
yes.
So Mizzou not getting in the playoff, and it was better for them.
It's better for them to not be a playoff team than to be a playoff team, quote unquote, and get hammered.
No,
like Tennessee did.
You're out of your mind.
I'm not.
You are. Making that playoff is monumental, especially this year, the 12-team playoff. Making that playoff. How about recruiting then? We're a playoff team.
Hey, we're a playoff team. How'd you do in that playoff game? Oh, we lost 52-9.
Oh, by the way, 57 other schools didn't make the playoff. Oh, you want to go there? You want to go to a team that didn't make the playoff?
Oh, we should have made the playoffs. We should have made the playoffs.
But did you?
Did you see Tennessee? We were better than them.
I just think that your angle is wrong.
Anthony, we got a text from 314. Did Oregon stink because they looked as bad as Tennessee against
That's
Ohio
a great
State?
point.
Who? Oregon?
Oregon.
Yeah.
It hurt them for sure, didn't it?
It was, yeah, you're right, because Tennessee was, what, number one all season like Oregon was? No. Oh,
It's
that's
even worse
right,
for
they
Oregon.
weren't.
Even worse for Oregon.
It was a bad look, but we're
worse.
comparing apples to oranges.
No.
We're talking about Mizzou. If Mizzou was ranked 1 the entire time or most of the season like Oregon was, and they lost to Ohio State, it's a bad look, but it's much different than barely making the playoffs or at least getting that rose. Here you go, you're one of the last teams in, and then proving that you didn't really belong.
Yeah, but they end up playing the same amount of games.
I'm just saying from an optic standpoint, didn't look good.
No, I think the bad part for Mizzou is they were expected to be in the playoffs this year. They started off in the top 10. They were ranked number 9 in the preseason poll, if I'm not mistaken, to start the year off.
Yeah.
Right? They were expected. This was supposed to be a 12-win season for Mizzou, and you fell 2 games short of that. Right, that was the expectation. I think you were supposed to be playing you should have beat Texas A&M and you should have beat South Carolina. I think most people had the one loss on their schedule being the Alabama loss, but you lost 2 more games, and you didn't particularly look good in other games as well. The Boston College game was a little bit messy. What game was it? Middle of the year? It was end of the year. Was it Auburn? Arkansas? I think it was the Auburn game. The Vanderbilt game was another one.
Oklahoma was the game that you came back at the very end.
Scored at the very end. So, there were some games there that weren't pretty, and you were supposed to be more of a dominant team, and you weren't. And you had to watch the playoffs. You got to win against Iowa, though. Good for those guys.
Oh, you want to go bowl wins?
I definitely want to go bowl wins. Hell yeah.
Bowls only count sometimes.
Yeah.
You're wrong on this one, Anthony.
Thanks, Dunk. Love you, buddy.
Jamie, tell the Blues to stop trying for playoffs. It's a bad look.
Here's the thing about this. Here's the thing about this. I guarantee you there are Mizzou fans, and you don't have to admit this. I'll die on this hill. That's fine. I'll die alone. Mizzou, there are a certain amount of Mizzou fans that if they were to squeak into the playoffs and then they get absolutely destroyed, there would have been some Mizzou fans that would have said, I wish we just didn't even make it. This was worse.
Those people are crazy.
Optics-wise, things like that.
You don't see me saying that. I'm glad my Vikings made the playoffs.
You were a 14-win team. It's different.
I just, Anthony, at the end of it, and we'll end it here, I just think that for recruiting purposes, it's better for a team to have made the playoffs. Then when I'm out recruiting players, I'm saying, hey, listen, we were a playoff team last year. Now we're looking to make the next steps. We need players like you to win that playoff game. We need players like you so we don't get the doors blown off us by Ohio State. But we're a playoff team. We're looking to continue to build.
Okay. All right.
To me, that's an easy selling point, rather than we didn't make the playoffs even though we should have, or we were predicted to be one of those teams.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
Now he's doing it.
I know. That's why I'm ignoring it.
I think we obviously don't agree. We have a different viewpoint on this.
I'm not looking for an argument.
We
I don't
agree.
I
get it. That's a fair point.
I made my point. You made your point.
There you go.
It's a fast lane here on 101.
What's
ESPN.
going up next?
We got Blues?
Yeah.
Marshy, when I do that, it's a trigger. Just don't worry about what you
I know,
No, you gotta like the lamp. My favorite game. We should change the name to Carey's.
Jamie's keys to tonight's Blues game.
How many? And should give them a
And
lot.
we're going to light the lamp.
Carey's
on
like the lamp
101
game.
ESPN. Tonight, the Blues host the Flames again. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie's got some keys to victory tonight for the Blues.
Yeah, if you're the Blues right now, look at it's the second game of this little mini series you have here. You have to have a good start. It's redundant. I say it all the time, but when this Blues team starts on time, they're competitive in those games. When they don't show up until the second or third period, we know how that works. You're not deep enough with talent to kind of float your way through the first half of the game and expect to win. Another thing is win the special teams battle. The last game, you did a great job. You had 6 shots on net on the power play. Didn't score, but you still have a good job by the power play. Penalty kill is perfect. 0 shots on goal for that matter. Tonight, the Flames have the worst penalty kill in all of the NHL on the road. Get in the offensive zone, keep the puck down there, draw penalties, and then get to work on the power play. Get those shots on goal, but you got to finish tonight. Pucks in behind the defenseman. They've got a couple of big guys, in particular, Ball on defense, big number 7. He's a mutant, 6'6", 235, something like that. Doesn't turn all that well out there. He's a heck of a player. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's tough to play against, but he doesn't turn very well. So instead of trying to beat this guy one-on-one, put the puck behind him, slash support from your teammate, get in there, get control of the puck. Now he, the big unit, is forced to try and play catch-up, chasing you around, which means maybe he takes a penalty.
There you go.
Let's play physical, too. This Flames team is going to test you. They're going to test you in the dirty areas in front of the blue paint on both ends of the ice. So make sure you're answering the bell there. And then another key to the game is going to be Joel Hofer. Last game, Jordan Binnington did a fantastic job of intercepting pucks that were dumped in and nullifying the Flames' forecheck. Joel Hofer has to do the exact same thing tonight. Get out of the net, get the puck, move it to a defenseman, or at least move the puck past the first layer of forecheckers from the Flames.
All right, there is Jamie's keys to victory tonight for the Blues. Let's light the lamp now.
But a couple of guys can really shoot the puck.
Shooter! I must confess you scored first.
Well, who was the first person?
Breakaway! Shoots! Score! We got hockey to learn.
All right, Carey Davis, first place now. First place by the end of the season. Insurmountable lead, but we'll play the game anyways.
By the way, Kerry, I thought of you last game.
Yeah.
They pulled the goalie. Jordan Binnington had the puck clean. Clean. Now, if the Blues had been up by 2 goals, I think you would have taken a rip at the net.
Yeah.
But they're up by 1. You don't want to have the icing call or have, so he puts it back up the glass. But as soon as I go, oh my gosh. If this happens, Kerry's going to lose his mind.
Give me Dylan Holloway. Please and thank you. You're welcome, Danny.
It's a good pick. No argument. That's a good pick.
Jamie, I like where your head's at.
Going for it?
Give me Joel Hofer!
Okay, so is a goalie goal worth what? 20 points? 10 points?
You said...
We said 20.
You said...
Initially, it was 10.
I don't care.
And then we went 20.
We can make it whatever we want,
you
guys. It's so rare.
I mean, it's got to be 20.
20 points.
Make it
20 points.
Make it 25.
I don't care.
Okay, yeah, 25.
It's so rare.
Points.
Is that your pick? Joel Hofer. Okay.
25 points.
Ooh, I'm actually kind of hoping for it now.
Hey, I got a track record here.
You do. You do. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to go with Zach Bolduc tonight.
All right.
That's another pick. It's a good pick, Jamie.
I think it's good.
It's a good pick.
Hungry.
He's hungry.
Out of the lineup.
Yeah.
He's got a hell of a shot.
Yep.
Jordan Kyrou?
I'm thinking of the same. Hey, slow down. I'm thinking the same way in terms of a guy that's hungry. Really didn't do much the last game. Give me Jordan Kyrou.
Yep.
Give me Jordan Kyrou tonight.
Yeah. There it is.
There you have it.
There it is.
Jamie,
So, but
good luck tonight.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll be rooting for you.
Yep. And the people behind you.
Well, it might be us.
It might be.
Might be. I can't wait.
You'll never know.
I'd
You'll
laugh so
never
hard.
know.
I would. I'd laugh so hard.
you won't know.
I know.
You won't know when we do it, but we will be there.
I think it'd be great.
One of those times.
He's going to show up.
Smashing the glass.
Pressed up against the glass.
Pressed up against it.
I'll just look up, say, hey, security, these 3 got to go.
Yeah.
They got to go.
We'll talk to the security guards before that. We'll have it all cleared.
Most of them listen to the Fast Lane.
Yeah.
They talk about it.
Yeah.
Good listeners.
And we'll be drinking, too. So.
That's hard to believe.
All right, we'll be drinking anyways, whether we're sitting behind you or not.
Good point.
Let's be honest about it. All right, Jamie's got to get out of here. See you, buddy.
Yep.
We'll see you Monday. right? Because you're traveling. Traveling tomorrow.
I'll be on Monday.
Actually, none of us will be on Monday.
That's right.
We'll all be celebrating Martin Luther King Day.
I was like, I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, so we'll see you Tuesday.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Vegas for like 3 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's terrible.
Yeah, no fun there.
Nope, none.
All right. Well, Jamie, get the hell out of here. We'll see you, buddy.
See you, boys.
Gauntlet next. Brian, round 2 for Brian here on 101 ESPN.
If you live in the St. Louis area and you're looking to sell your home and maybe you're just confused, the bad weather this time of year, is it the right time to put my home up for sale? What price should I ask? Don't worry about all that stuff. Take those questions out of your life by calling Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria has been in the business for well over 20 years, and she understands this market. She knows exactly what's going on, and she knows that each and every area in St. Louis is priced differently. Therefore, she's going to make sure that you price your home to sell. She's going to make sure that you get a lot of traffic to your listing because she's got a database with thousands of buyers that she's going to push towards your home to have a look at it. And the biggest thing of all is Gloria Liu is going to get you to the closing table, making the most amount that you possibly can. She's going to guarantee that for you. So please take the time, call Gloria Liu. She's unbelievable. Tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, her number, 314-325-6888. Or it's pretty easy. You can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Warriors. 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN 404. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. And we've got Brian back for round 2. Brian shut me out yesterday. Not a great performance by me here in the Gauntlets. So Brian's back for round 2.
That's tough.
Yeah. What's up,
How
Brian?
we doing, fellas?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Sun's shining. Starting to warm up a little bit for now.
Let's get some of the snow and ice off the ground, shall we?
No kidding.
Yeah,
no
thank
kidding.
you. Especially my driveway. Brian, would you like to take on Marsh or Carey?
I don't want to take on any Illinois alums at all, so I figured I'd just get it out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and take on CD here.
Ah,
all right.
ILL.
INI.
There you go.
Fire up Illini. That's right. All right,
that's
Carey's
not
going to
how it
make his way into the cone of silence right now.
Get out of here, Carey.
And Brian, you're going to tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, Marshy.
What are we hoping for round 2?
I'll take the random again.
You might as well.
If we could, that's probably my best shot if I can just keep plugging away at that.
It's random.
It's random?
Oh, my gosh. Let's go.
Wow, it is random.
See if we
Okay.
can't get another dogfight here.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that was not good. Well, you already know, Brian. You're going to get 4 random questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. Thanks, Marsh. If you ask for the options, those are worth 1 point. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
The 2002 album Songs About Jane propelled Maroon 5 to pop stardom. Who is the band's lead singer?
Gosh darn it. Give me the options.
I actually would have known this one, believe it or not.
I might. I'm going to feel dumb when I hear it.
No, you're good. Adam Lambert, Chris Keller, Adam Levine.
Adam Levine. Final answer.
Question number 2. Despite a down 2024, what is the top pair producing state on an annual basis?
Give me the options.
Options are Pennsylvania, Washington, or Michigan.
Brian, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll take Washington. Final answer.
All right, Brian, question number 1. Can you give us the name of the world's first talking animatronic toy? And here's a hint. His famous opening line was, "Come dream with me tonight."
Goodness.
Yeah.
Man. Options, please.
Teddy Ruxpin, Funshine Bear, or Perry the Platypus?
Give me Teddy Ruxpin. Final answer.
Question number 4. Who was the first Asian American player to win an NBA championship?
What? Give me the option.
Options are Rui Hachimura, Jeremy Lin, or Yao Ming.
Yao Ming is who I was thinking initially, so I'll go with him. Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Carey from the Cone of Silence. Brian, how you feeling?
Not great.
Okay. Twice in a row here.
About the same as yesterday, but I don't know if that's going to do any good.
You got a dub. Yesterday.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What's up, Carey?
That's fast.
Was it?
It felt like it.
I felt like it was an appropriate amount of time.
It felt like I just sat down.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Carey, welcome back in.
Welcome.
Your
Hello.
category is random. Random.
Marcy, this is your fault.
How is it my fault?
Because you said we hadn't had random, or was that you, Anthony?
No, that was me.
Yeah, see? We haven't had random in forever, in 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
All righty.
Well, Marsh,
pack a lunch.
Oh, Lord.
Question number 1. The 2002 album Songs About Jane propelled Maroon 5 to pop stardom. Who is the band's lead singer?
I know this. I can see his face. Oh, what is his name? Isn't he on The Voice? Oh, what is the guy? What is it? What is your name? What is your name? What is your name?
DMX.
That's the new Where Are We?
Where are we?
What is his name? I'm so bothered. I can see it's Adam Levine. Final answer.
Question number 2. Despite a down 2024, What is the top pear producing state on an annual basis?
Despite a down 2024, huh? You say? Those pears, huh? Wasn't coming in the year of 2024 like they used to, huh? Somewhere southern, I would assume. Oh, you said state?
Yes.
No. Okay. Options.
Options are.
Does it matter?
Pennsylvania, Washington, Michigan.
Why in the heck would pears not be in the South? They don't need to be, clearly. Michigan, Washington, Pennsylvania?
That is correct.
I would say probably not Pennsylvania. I feel like I would have known that since I lived there for a little while. I guess it depends on which part of the state, though.
Big state.
It is. I don't think they grow any pears in Philadelphia, you know? You said Washington, like the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C. I didn't hear that. All right. I was thinking East Coast automatically. You did say Washington, not D.C., correct?
Yeah, the Washington state.
State. And making sure. And Washington, final answer.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
All right, Carey. Can you give us the name of the world's first talking animatronic toy? Here's a hint. His famous opening line was, "Come dream with me tonight."
His name was "Come Dream with Me Tonight."
His famous opening line was, "Come dream with me tonight."
Oh, I need a year. Elmo was a talking toy, correct? Animatronic? No? Who knows? Else would I know?
I love when Carey talks to himself, answers his own questions.
What is your name? What is your name?
Elmo's World.
Elmo's is a good one. Hey, kids were going crazy over Tickle Me Elmo. I don't think that was the first one, though. Yeah, okay. Options.
Teddy Ruxpin, Funshine Bear, or Perry the Platypus?
Perry the Platypus sounds very scary. The hell would you want to Perry the Platypus? What was the slogan again?
Come dream with me tonight.
Can I get the options one more time, please?
Teddy Ruxpin, Funshine Bear, or Perry the Platypus?
I want to Stalter this because I've never heard of Funshine Bear ever. And for whatever reason, Perry the Platypus, maybe I've heard of it. I know I've heard of Teddy Ruxpin. I feel like I should say Teddy Ruxpin. But I'm going to go with the Funshine Bear. Final answer. That's an Anthony Stalter special. I learned that from you.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Final question, Carey. Who was the first Asian American player to win an NBA championship?
Yao didn't win. Jeremy Lin didn't win. Asian American player. Rui Hachimura? No, it's been before that. Asian, you said born?
Who was the first Asian American player to win an NBA championship?
All right. Give me the options, please.
Your options are Rui Hachimura.
Oh, God.
Jeremy Lin.
Oh, God.
Yao Ming.
What are you doing?
Only the three names.
What are you doing? Rui Hachimura. Final answer. I should have just went with that. Gosh darn it. I literally named all three of the options. That's awful.
All right, here we go. Brian, in his second round here, in the second round of the Gauntlet, he got random again. This time he chose CD. Let's go through these. The 2002 album Songs About Jane propelled Maroon 5 to pop stardom. Who's the band's lead singer? Brian, you said Adam Levine. Carey, you said Adam Levine. Correct answer is?
It is Adam Levine.
But Carey didn't need the options. Brian, you said you would have known it right when you heard it, and you were disappointed in yourself because you couldn't remember it. Carey's got a 2-1 lead after one. Despite a down 2024, what is the top pair-producing state on an annual basis? Brian, you said Washington. Carey, you said Washington. Correct answer is...
It is Washington.
But neither of you knew it off the top of your head.
Good.
1 point apiece. So Carey with a 3-2 lead over Brian.
I don't like this.
Can you give us the name of the world's first talking animatronic toy? The hint was that his famous opening line was, "Come dream with me tonight." Carey went with the old Anthony Stalter. This one doesn't make sense. Funshine Bear. I don't know if you were using that correctly, but Funshine Bear was nonetheless your answer. Brian, you also heard the options, and you went with the more obvious Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, it's too obvious. It's clearly not the answer.
Marsh, was it too obvious?
Yes, it's Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin.
What are we doing?
By the way, Perry the Platypus is from the Disney show Phineas and Ferb. He is the secret agent
knew
P.
that.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. Fair enough.
Agent P.
Never heard of it. 3-3 tie.
That's ridiculous.
3-3 tie comes down to this.
I should have just said it.
Who was the first Asian American player to win an NBA championship? Brian with the options said Yao Ming. Carey with the options said Rui Hachimura. If it's Rui Hachimura, Carey wins. If it's Yao Ming, Brian wins. Brian.
Walk it off.
Oh,
It was Jeremy
Lin.
Lin.
Was it with the Lakers?
Raptors.
What?
I thought I was cooked there.
He was with the Raptors in 2019.
Was he?
As soon as CD said Yao didn't do it and Lynn didn't do it, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm done.
Yeah, he was with the Raptors in 2019.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't even remember him being on that team.
So we've got a walk-off. This is how it's going to work.
Oh, boy.
Carey's going to write down his answer. Brian, you're going to hold off on your answer until we ask you for yours. And then when we ask you, man, you got to have it. All right?
I got you.
That's because you got a slight advantage here with Carey having to write down his answer first.
Sure.
Closest to the pin wins. Carey, you ready?
No.
Okay, here we go. How many merit badges must be earned by an Eagle Scout? How many merit badges must be earned by an Eagle Scout?
That feels low.
Carey wrote down his answer. Brian, what is yours?
I'm going to say 28.
Okay. Wow. I mean, wow. Yeah. Let me say that backwards. Wow. How many merit badges must be earned by an Eagle Scout? Carey, you wrote down
12.
We just heard Brian say 28. Brian.
You have chosen wisely.
Let's go.
The correct answer was
21.
21.
My first thought was 18. I don't know why I threw an extra 10 on there.
My first thought was 22.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You just flipped it. Just flip it.
Yeah.
Gosh, you sit.
Brian, congratulations. You will take on Andrew Marsh tomorrow. We already know your opponent because Jamie's not even here. So you'll take on Marsh tomorrow in round 3 of the Gauntlet. Nice job, man.
All righty.
Good job.
Good
Nice
job,
work.
Brian.
Jeez.
Thanks, fellas. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
right.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right. See ya.
Oof.
I don't know the answer to that.
Nobody remembers that.
Oh, man.
Is it the red or the white? All right. Carey is going to make his way into the penalty box for losing the Gauntlet. That's 2 days in a row. Congratulations to Brian. 2 randoms that Brian won. And while Carey is in the penalty box, we're going to talk about college football and the playoffs and whether or not it's a huge advantage for coaches when it comes to recruiting. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Kerry Davis, and if you are looking to keep that hot air in and the cold air out, then you need to know about Window Nation and their 50% off of all window styles, plus paying nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Yes, that's 2 full years with Window Nation. Window Nation can get you a free, no-obligation quote as soon as today and get you in and have you figure out if those windows that will make your home look more beautiful and keep the hot air in. You need to know about it. So again, reach out to them at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. Here's the thing. All they do is windows. They are experts. Last year alone, they installed over 200,000 windows, which is 40% more than the average window company. 96% of those windows that were installed required no follow-up service. They can install that window in 1 day or less, and Window Nation's windows come with a lifetime warranty. So again, that's 50% off of all window styles, and you pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Reach out to them today at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com.
Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kerry Davis has got an unhappy look on his face. I don't blame him. He's in the penalty box right now after losing to Brian in the Gauntlet. You all right, buddy?
Does anyone ever use this phone?
No.
Why is it here?
We don't know why that's there, period.
There's a
Actually,
phone.
there was an update. We had an update guy that sat there every day.
TC.
Yeah. You all remember Tom Casey?
Tom Casey?
Yeah.
I remember TC, yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Tom Casey used to sit back there. Anywho, Kerry, I'm going to actually defer to you on this one because you coached college football for a very long time. Within the last, what did I say?
High school.
High school. Did I say high school?
You said college.
College?
Yeah.
You went to college, played at Illinois.
I did coach a
Super Bowl
college
champion
all-star
Steelers.
game,
Eventually coached at the high school level.
Counts for something.
Yeah, darn right it does.
Yeah.
So and within the last 2 years, you were coaching at your alma mater.
Yes.
So you know what young athletes are looking for when they're getting recruited by colleges.
Right.
How much do you think the college football playoff plays into whether or not a current athlete is going to go to that program?
Unfortunately, I think the landscape has changed where they're more looking at, how much money they can get. Not all of them, but a lot of them. An opportunity to play, and then the school that it is and what they provide in terms of how much prestige and how much notoriety they can get from being at that school. How many games are they going to be able to play in? Important games. And so when you have these teams and you add the extra games or the extra teams to the college football playoffs, I think it does help. I think it does help with gaining, people eyeballs watching games and seeing those young players play. I do think that some players are choosing, those, but they were already going to choose those programs if those programs were after them.
Right.
If Alabama comes knocking, you're probably answering that call. If Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, the Georgias of the world, Texas, when those schools are offering you an opportunity to play college football, you're probably more interested than in a group of 5 school. And that's no knock against them, but once those bigger schools call, you want to go there. I think what the college football playoff has done, we talked about this as well, not just for players, but for coaches. We were talking about this in the break. A guy like Ryan Day, who, if you only got 4 teams this year, Ryan Day, as crazy as it sounds, might have been fired.
Yeah.
Right? He might be out of a job at this point because you're looking at him say, you can't beat Michigan. You lost to Ohio State. You lost to Oregon. You're not in the playoffs. You don't have a chance to win a championship. Get out of here. Mm-hmm. But what these additional games have allowed is a team like Ohio State to have a bump in the road late, where in the years past, if you lost your last game of the year, you were not getting into the college football playoff. It just wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to be one of the 4 teams, even if you were undefeated up until that point. So I think the college football playoff has added value for coaches, for their longevity. But I do think when you're talking about players, they are looking more at where can I play right away, which school, if I'm getting money, which school is going to – it's like a job offer. You got multiple people after your services. Mm-hmm. You're going to go to the best place you want to be at, and the one that's paying you, probably the most amount of money. So I think that's what these college players are looking for. But I am a huge fan of what the college football playoffs have done for this season.
Yeah, I am too. From a college football fan standpoint, 100%. Yeah. I think that we probably, and based on what you just said, Kerry, I'm going to double down on this. I really do think we kind of overestimate what watching a team play in the playoffs does for a recruit. Some recruits may say, oh man, look at their uniforms, look at this, look at that.
Right.
This program looks like it's having fun. I want to go there. I think now it's more about maybe it's a legacy situation. Maybe a parent went there. Maybe it's just a situation where you felt comfortable when you went to get the recruit. When you got recruited and you went on a recruiting visit. Certainly the NIL aspect of it, that's a big proponent now too of whether or not you're going to go. I think making the playoffs, it probably does less for a recruiting standpoint and more from a booster standpoint. If you're a coach and part of your job is to get, whether it's money or backing from boosters or money or backing from somebody that is going to be an advertiser,
right?
Saying that you made the playoffs, hey, we made the playoffs. Look what we're building. Mm-hmm. I think it's better from that standpoint.
Yeah,
because a booster essentially is a fan,
right?
And we had the debate earlier about if Mizzou got in and they got boat raced, is that better or whatever? One point I wasn't making was that if I'm a fan, I want to see my team in the playoffs, period. Mm-hmm. I was more viewing it as that conversation that we had. I was more viewing it as if if you're, trying to recruit players and things, I don't think that matters as much. But if you're a booster, you're somebody that wants to spend money at your alma mater or money at on a program that you love and you've got, a ton of it. You want to know that your team is going to make the playoffs.
But that does help. That does help recruiting because that goes back to the NIL. So it is.
I'm just saying you're not a player sitting there like,
right.
Oh, look, I want to go play for Tennessee. Look what they made. They I don't care. They got boat race. They made the playoffs. But yes, inadvertently.
Yeah, it does because the more money you can have in your collective from boosters and from outside sources where you can spend that money on. I mean, it is free agency every year. For people that don't know, it is free agency. You're talking to programs. I just had a kid that transferred from a Power 5 school to a Group of 5 school, and I was calling coaches, and we're talking about, hey, this is the number. Can you meet this? Can you match this? What number are you at? Right? And so these are the conversations. It's year after year after year where a player can do that and go to another school the following year if they choose to based on how well they played if another school is offering more money. So I think for me now, when you're looking at it, the players that are capable of going to those programs, they're probably looking to get paid because other schools are going to offer them money. So now we got to have a conversation of which one of you all is going to offer me the most money. I don't think being in the playoffs matters to them. Now, once you get there and you're in the program, there is a sense of pride and being in a program and wanting to win a championship.
Yeah.
But the initial part of getting there, I think it's more about, hey, who's offering the best opportunity to play and who's paying the most money?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you make it to a championship or if you make it to the playoffs, those boosters will be more inclined to put a little bit more money in your collective pocket so that you can spend that how you see fit.
Yeah. Marsh also brought up this point too, just making the playoffs. If you are Ryan Day, maybe James Franklin, if you get bounced early on or you don't make the playoffs, maybe your program starts to look at you and says, well, we can't get over the hump here. Why don't we move forward? As opposed to, no, we made the playoffs. We won a game or two or three. And, you know what? You are the right guy.
Yeah.
Like, you have afforded that opportunity to yourself if you're a head coach, and you're able to make the playoffs and win a game or so.
And to the flip side of that, maybe you just keep making the playoff, but you don't necessarily do anything. And now you're in that same conversation that we have with other sports, even the NFL. Well, this guy seems to get there every single year, but they're not doing anything. A lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans are having that conversation right now with Mike Tomlin. Hate to say it, Kerry, but they are. And they keep bringing it up every single year because the Steelers do get to the dance, but they don't do anything when they're there.
That's
so
true.
It's like, what are we doing here?
What do those people know, huh?
I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that's the conversation. It could happen in college football too.
You know how frustrated you'll be when you don't make the playoffs at all.
The grass ain't always greener, right?
And same thing, and that's the same thing I said with Ryan Day. People have hated on him, and he doesn't win the big game. Okay, find somebody that that doesn't win 10 games a year, and let me see how you feel. Because you're going to be even more frustrated and wishing that you'd have kept Ryan Day around. And I'm glad that he's in this position to have a chance to win a championship, even though he lost to Michigan. People were ready to fire him on the spot, like get him out of here. And it was a bad game. But this college football playoff has allowed, like you said, for maybe a little bit of longevity or just another year or two to try to get things right if you're able to make it in there.
Yep.
Or close.
Kerry, get out of there.
Can I go?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Kerry's done with his punishment for losing the gauntlet. He's out of the penalty box. We got hot take or hot garbage coming up next. Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. If you have a hot take or hot garbage statement, great. Send it there. We'll play it here on 101 ESPN. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, you got to head down to Herculaneum, see my friends at Auto Centers Nissan. They got their New Year, New Keys sales event going on. 0 down and no payments for 3 months on select used vehicles and no payments for 6 months. That's right. No payments for 6 months on select new Nissans, all right now during that New Year, New Keys sales event at Auto Centers Nissan. Plus, get low finance rates like 0% APR for 60 months on select new Nissan models. And every 2025 Nissan model in stock comes with a free lifetime warranty and 3 free oil changes. Plus, get peace of mind with their 30-day return promise. Over 700 vehicles, all in one location, new and used, out in Herculaneum. Heavily discounted prices on every vehicle in stock at Auto Centers right now during this current sales event. New Nissans discounted up to $11,000 off with several brand new models priced under $30K. Check them out online, AutoCentersNissan.com. And when you head down to Herculaneum, tell them Anthony Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues take on the Calgary Flames tonight, and you can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. We have hot take or hot garbage coming up next. So if you have a hot take that you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. We'll do hot take or hot garbage next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Boom! Hot take!
If you have a hot take or hot garbage statement that you want to send in, please do. Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 with Kerry Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Andrew Marsh.
All right, gentlemen, let's head to the Air Comfort Service text line, and we'll start right here with the 636. Hot take or hot garbage after a promising season for the Broncos. Bo Nix is now the long-term quarterback of the future for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, it's just a sound take. It's not even a hot take. It's just a sound take.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is the guy.
He did a great job.
Sean Payton knows what he's doing.
Does he?
Yeah.
Why didn't he know what he was doing with Russell Wilson?
Did Artie the party? Or did Artie the one-man party know what he was doing?
You got a point there.
Thank you. How about Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll knew what he was doing with him. He dumped him.
Maybe he didn't know what he was doing.
Oh, I think he did.
You think he saw it?
Yeah.
Saw the writing on the wall?
Yes, he did. Bo Nix, excellent season. Excellent. He's the guy. Him and Sean Payton for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
AFC West is stacked, unless you're a Raiders fan.
They're going to get the Chargers. They got a social media quarterback.
Yeah. Great highlights.
We'll move on.
That guy can play.
We'll move on for you, Anthony. From the 636.
Steeler fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take him.
Thank you.
636.
Right now.
Thank you.
Hot take or hot garbage. Chiefs fans should be rooting for Buffalo to win this weekend.
Oh, that's a hot take.
So, okay, go ahead.
No, I mean, they don't want to see Baltimore.
Okay, so Brandon Kiley, massive Chiefs fan.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to him before the show, and he actually says that Buffalo scares him more than Baltimore.
I don't know how that is.
I don't know.
Buffalo is
well, because Buffalo is really they've given Kansas City some problems.
Yeah, when they had Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis,
they're better now. Buffalo's a better team now.
They're a better team. They don't have better weapons.
Better team though.
Yeah, better regular season team.
Better team.
You got to have guys. Somebody got to make a play, man. Who's going to make a play?
Outside of Derrick Henry, who's the guy for Baltimore? Rashad
Mark
Bateman?
Andrews, Lamar Jackson,
Isaiah Likely to make a big play.
There you go.
I'll give you Likely.
And Zay Flowers will probably be playing. They haven't ruled him out.
Yeah.
Not this week, but if they play in the AFC Championship game.
Deontay Johnson.
Again.
Brought him back. How you like that?
How do you bring him back?
I mean, hey, you have a conversation. It's all we're all grown people.
Same guy that wouldn't go into a game for the Ravens.
It's the playoffs now.
It's playoffs.
He's been cut, 3 times this season?
He got traded once. Didn't he get traded, or was he cut?
No, he did get traded from Carolina.
I think
Carolina to Baltimore.
You got traded from Pittsburgh to Carolina, and then Carolina to
Baltimore this year.
Yeah.
Then got cut, picked up by the Texans, got cut again, picked back up by the Baltimore Ravens.
Maybe he should play.
Hey, man, that's what I'd say. You want to complain? All right, go out there and play.
Yeah.
You better be good.
Yeah.
Better catch the ball, too.
Yeah.
I think either way, it's going to be a tough matchup. You know, you're either dealing with Lamar and Derrick Henry, or you're dealing with Josh Allen. I mean, that's either way. Either way, it's going to be tough.
Hot take or hot garbage from the 314. The Cardinals are not shifting their plan. They just don't know what they're doing.
That's hot garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
They got a plan.
We're not saying it's going to work, but
just because you don't agree with it, doesn't mean that it's not a plan. Like, people have plans all the time.
Yeah.
Then you have people that disagree with it. That's a dumb
you get hit in
idea.
the face.
Yeah, everybody got a plan. You get punched in the mouth. And you realize that wasn't a good plan.
I should have done that. Yeah. I should have went with Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah.
Or San Jose.
Seriously.
I should have went with San Jose.
You should have. You didn't even know San Jose, though. At least did you take the options?
Oh, yeah.
You did.
Yep.
You did. Yeah.
Now, granted, I was going to go with San Francisco, so either way.
At least you'd have been in the vicinity with San Francisco.
True.
You were.
Would you go Fresno?
Yeah.
It's a huge city.
Is San Jose massive, comparatively speaking? I'm sure it's way bigger than Fresno. But anyways, let's just stop this nonsense, okay? All right. I actually like the game plan for the Cardinals. I have no idea if they're going to execute it, but you can't go wrong with going through the draft and development.
Yeah.
That's how you sustain it. Again, will they execute it? No idea, but...
From the 618, hot take or hot garbage until there is a salary cap in Major League Baseball. The disparity between the top teams and bottom teams is only going to get bigger until it hurts the league.
Hot garbage.
Hot take, it's already hurt the league. We're seeing it now.
If you don't... this is why I have trouble. Because I'll hear people.
You're going to make a different argument.
I'm going to.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say what I hear people say all the time. You can fire a manager. You fire the manager. You win a championship. You make the playoffs. You don't pay money. You can be like the Miami Marlins, right? You can make it. You can do it with a lower salary roster. It's possible. But then people complain. So which one is it? Can you make the playoffs and win a championship? Can you be the Miami Marlins? Can you, Anthony? Can you do that? Sure you can. All you have to do is think it, and it shall be. And that's what I'm saying to all of these fans that are complaining about my Los Angeles Dodgers. I wish I could find my darn glasses right now. My Los Angeles Dodgers are deferring money like no other. Bobby Bonilla would be proud. He is proud of the deferral of money for years to come. Shohei Ohtani probably got on the phone with Bobby Bo and said, how does that check feel? It's going to feel great, Shohei. Do it. Get all the money you can. And you know what happens when you do that? You can get all the other players you want, and you can win as many championships as you'd like. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Welcome to the... if I may.
Yeah.
Apologies to the Milwaukee Brewers, Toronto Blue Jays, Cincinnati Reds, San Francisco Giants, St. Louis Cardinals, LA Angels, Pittsburgh Pirates, the A's, or wherever the hell they're playing, Washington Nationals, Miami Marlins, Colorado Rockies, Chicago White Sox. You've already been officially eliminated from postseason contention.
Well, you just named the entire league, Anthony.
You don't like it, play better.
Exactly.
You got to find stars, right? You got to find guys.
How are you going to find a star?
Paul Skeens is going to pitch. He's going to be a Cy Young candidate and lead the Pittsburgh Pirates
to 70
wins. 85 wins.
How are you going to find a star? You're going to find multiple stars. I don't even own a gun, let alone multiple guns to necessitate a gun rack.
Listen.
It's already hurt the league.
Do better. Do you want to watch the Miami Marlins play baseball? Or do you want to watch
Did you like college football this past year?
I loved it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Was your Illinois? Was Illinois in the playoff contention at some point?
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah.
Should have been. They won another game.
Correct.
Not a loss.
Correct.
Yeah,
if Illinois played in Major League Baseball, they're already eliminated.
Nah, we got good coaches. You coach them up, Anthony. No matter where they come from, coach them up. Get them ready to play.
The NFL is a copycat league. So what would you copy from the 8 teams that are remaining? Besides, copy Patrick Mahomes. He already exists. I'm just saying, generally speaking, what would you copy from the Chiefs, the Texans, the Lions? Next. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Super Bowl champ Kerry Davis, and if you have any issues with your car, any issues with your car, you need to call my good friend Jeff at All Things Appearance. He can get you back on the road, get you rolling, get you going. It could be detailing. You got salt out there. Your cars might be dirty. You can get it detailed. You can call him for that. You can call him if you have dent repair or paint repair or any collision repair that you need. He's able to work with your insurance company, your warranty company, and make sure you get the best prices available. Even if you still have hail damage from earlier this year, they're still working working on that as well. Call them, get a free estimate. You can reach out to them at 636-248-5051 or online at All Things Appearance. Jeff talked to me today. He wanted me to tell you that when you call that number, one, you're going to talk to him directly. That is his personal cell phone number. And you don't have to call in business hours. You can call after business hours. He will get back to you. Now, if you call too late, he'll probably have to call you the next morning, but he will return your phone call, your text. He will make sure you get the best price available and you are not being overcharged for any work that you need done. Again, that's 636-248-5051, allthingsappearance.com. Give him a call today. Tell him Kerry Davis sent you.
We have your shot to score a pair of lawn tickets to see Chris Stapleton on Friday, July 11th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Tickets for Chris Stapleton go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Text in to win free tickets now at 314-399-9646 on the Aircraft Service text line and find all the ticket details and a bonus chance to register to win tickets at 101ESPN.com or in your 101 mobile app. Here's your trivia question for today. We had a guest producer on Monday. It wasn't Andrew Marsh that was in. Who was our guest producer on Monday? 101st texter with the correct answer to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, will win those tickets.
I was completely confused.
Yeah.
Was I here Monday?
Oh, yeah, you were. Yeah.
I would.
Which star guest producer?
Were you confused too?
I was so confused. I was like, what was Monday? Was I gone? Because I was gone. But I thought that was last week.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. I mean, I was here, Anthony, but I was still not here.
Yeah, you were in Puerto Rico. Your mind was Your mind was in Puerto Rico. Your body was here. Yeah. All right. The NFL is a copycat league,
what is
right?
Your name?
What would you copy off of the 8 divisional round teams. And I'm not just talking about, the guy to have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I get that. I'm talking about from like a general perspective. For example, if I were to copy anything from the Chiefs, it would be their ability to build a roster with basically no massive weaknesses. You know, it's not like most teams have weaknesses. Most teams just say, well, if their offensive line holds up, or, Washington Commanders, man, I really like them, but man, I don't know about their defense, right? I would copy the fact that the Chiefs, they might not be great at every spot, but they're basically good across the board at every position.
What would you most want to copy, though?
Their ability to build a roster with
Did you say that?
With no weaknesses. I did. I did. I wasn't going to say, look, I wasn't going to call you out on it, but I did. Yeah. So what'd you copy?
I didn't listen.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. I phrased it as an example, but that's what I would copy.
Okay.
I would copy that's a sound roster.
Yeah.
Right? Like, obviously, I would love to have the best head coach and the best quarterback, but I'm talking about from just a general standpoint.
Yeah.
I think their roster is sound. I think there's a massive weakness.
I think I would copy the Detroit Lions. Their what they've done, their game plan for drafting. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, how they went and got 4 guys, and we were like, what the hell are they doing? These 4 people.
They fit what they want to do. Yeah.
What they were trying to do. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Laporta, you got Campbell, and you got Brian Branch. 4 guys that are all starters and playing, high level football for that team.
Water boy, but what would you copy?
I was like, what did you answer? I don't know. And then not the development, the player, the evaluation, the player development, and then the mentality. Like for me, I think they are an aggressive group. They are a team that plays with a lot of confidence, a lot of toughness, and it's just kind of in them. It starts with the head coach. They don't have. Some people wouldn't consider Jared Goff a top 10 quarterback, but he fits what they do. I think there was conversation that prior to last year, maybe they go in a different direction and draft a quarterback, but they gave him an extension. Like he played well enough to where they're like, okay, this is good. This is exactly what we need. For me, that model, what they've done this year, really the last 2 years, I wish they would have been able to finish it a little bit better last year in San Francisco and not, finish that game in the manner in which they did and maybe make it to the Super Bowl. But this year, all things are in front of them. And so for me, I think it's been I think that's the one that I would use to say, hey, I would want to follow that resume, that mindset of how to build a team and how to win games and go forward.
Yeah, if I'm copying anything from the Lions, kind of piggybacking off what you just said, Carey, is the identity.
Yeah.
They know their ability to know exactly who they are and then find players, again, to your point, to find players to match that identity.
Right.
That's what I would love to copy from the Lions. Like if I was just going to highlight the Lions. If I was going to highlight the Eagles, copy anything from the Eagles, I think, and I felt this way for a long time, their drafts, especially in like rounds 2 through 5, are so good. I loved Cooper DeJean coming out of Iowa. It wasn't a shock to me that the Eagles were the team to draft him.
Right.
Like he's sitting there in the second round, and I believe the Eagles, if I remember correctly, they went up and got him. But I typically love the Eagles draft. I love what Howie Roseman, what he does. And I realized that adding Saquon Barkley, that was huge, and A.J. Brown wasn't a draft pick. But even go back to Jalen Hurts. They had Carson Wentz.
Right.
And I know Wentz, now you look back at it like, well, clearly moving on from Wentz was the obvious choice. It wasn't it was obvious to move on from him, but it wasn't obvious to take Jalen Hurts in the second round.
Right.
So I think their ability to draft and to find starters in damn near every round, I think is highly impressive. So that'd be something I would copy from the Eagles.
They've done a great job of drafting, like you said, and those guys all pretty much hitting. Like they hit on their draft. I feel like they hit on every pick. Except for like
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah. That was, and he was taken before. Was that the one taken for Justin Jefferson?
Yes.
Yeah, so you missed on that one for sure. But they have done a great job of drafting, developing, and getting those guys, the defense especially, like the last few years where they went on that run of drafting nothing but Georgia Bulldog
Jalen
football
Carter,
players.
Kobe Dean.
Nolan Smith. Like you were drafting a bunch of guys that had played, Jordan Davis, guys that had played at a high level, won championships, and were really good football players. I agree with them as well. They've done a fantastic job with their scouting department. Even the guys that they bring in, they all end up playing. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got Darius Slay was brought in. You got, obviously, the book reader and A.J. Brown. But the main one, Saquon Barkley, right? You bring guys in that fit exactly who you are and what you want to do. They've done a fantastic job as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a few teams. Another one, San Francisco, even though they had a down year, I think they have built their team to fit who they are and their style of play.
Yeah.
So, the really good teams, and that's probably the funny part about it, when you're a really good team, people do want to copycat or do figure out how you get guys and implement them into your game plan, into your roster, and how you make them fit what you're doing as an organization. I think the good teams find a way to bring, like, Puka Nacua, like in Los Angeles. Like,
it's weird. The Rams draft for a team that punts drafts all the time. They got versed this year. Like you said, Puka Nacua was what, a 5th rounder?
Yes, they've done a really good job as well.
They for a team that says fast lane them picks. They have drafted well.
They have.
And they've got a lot of guys on defense outside of Verse that are virtually no name.
Braden Fisk, a second-round pick, who was a starting defensive end as well. Like, they've done a really good job. So, again, the good teams find a way to hit on their draft picks and add guys through via free agency or trades that allow you to continue to be a better team. The bad teams find a way to miss.
Yeah.
Or the just below or just above average teams find a way to not always hit on those guys.
Bad teams find a way, Kerry, to draft poorly, and then when they make those mistakes, they compound the issue by signing free agents that also don't pan out. We're going to talk about the Cardinals next, and what what the most important aspect is of their retool. I may have just hit on part of it. The most important aspect of the Cardinals retool, what would it be? Would it be free agency? Would it be the draft? Would it be whatever it may be? That's next on 101 ESPN.
pros and one average show. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101.
First and foremost, I'd like to see a competitive team. I mean, they're not doing anything. I think a lot of the fans' morale is down because you don't know what this team is going to be. But I'd like to see at least be competitive. That last week of the season, have a chance to actually win the division or solidify a wild card spot. But I also want to see progress with these younger players. They are the future of this ball club, whether we like it or not right now. But the expectation-wise from the fans, I think we're all expecting them to finish last and just be a bad season. And, that's going to kill attendance. It's going to kill fans' morale that is already low. So how about let's be competitive. The last week of the season means something and see some progress with these younger kids. Because, if we can get, Teen Kent and even Jordan Walker and some of these other guys to really play to their potential, I think we can be a fun and competitive team to watch this year.
That's my guy, Sweet Voice James. That's our guy here in the Fast Lane. Great takes as always from James. He's always well thought out, well measured, and I believe that was probably based on his comments. Are probably based on the conversation we had earlier about the Cardinals and what success would look like next year, like realistic success. It's a Fast Lane 505. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Andrew Marsh, Kerry Davis, Anthony Stalter. What will be the most important aspect of the Cardinals' retool? If you were to only choose one to be the most important, Kerry, I think a lot of people would say, well, free agency. I think free agency is one of the least important aspects. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're the Phillies or if you're the Dodgers and you can spend and spend and spend at the highest level, and then you make a bunch of mistakes and you could still outspend your mistakes, that's different. But the Cardinals aren't that team. They're not that organization. They're not going to be. Mm-hmm. So I don't view the free agency being all that important to the Cardinals in terms of their retool. One of the hidden ways, I think, and it's not even hidden, it's just I don't know why the Cardinals don't do this more. But I think the international free agent market is going to be huge for this team moving forward. So instead of free agency, and you're paying, if you're lucky, 28, 29-year-olds, more realistically, you're paying 31, 32-year-olds a ton of money. Can you develop the international market so that you can bring in young talent, cost-controlled, and you're actually hitting on some of these kids like the Braves have to jumpstart your retool? I think that's going to be an underrated aspect for the Cardinals' retool. How well are they at the international market? I think we're kind of going in the same. How good are they at the international? I think we're kind of going in the same direction because I'm thinking of your top draft picks, like those guys being, no matter where they come from, how well do they perform? We're to the point now. Now Nolan Gorman was 2018. We got to know. Jordan Walker was 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Michael McGreevy, 21. Like you have to know what these players are, who they are. You spent first-round draft picks on them because with the expectation that they would be people that would help your roster, help your team win championships, win playoff games. And so now it's time to really figure out if that's who they are. If not, then you do have to go back to the drawing board. So for me, it's about the people that you drafted. You took the time, you evaluated these players. They were high on your board. There were a lot of people that thought highly of those people, and you drafted them. And so now it's important. The most important thing is to figure out who they are for you and what they can do. But the only way, and I think the frustrating part for me, the only way I know what you can do is if I allow you to do it. One of the things I hate is when people say, well, you don't have enough experience for this job. Well, I just throwing things out here. How the hell do I get experience unless you let me do the job? Just get it. How? Get it. You don't have enough. I wouldn't hire him. He doesn't have any experience. Right. Really? Oh. You got to give somebody a chance for them to have experience. So you have to have vision, too. You have to have some vision. And you have to have trust. Yeah. You have to trust in what your eyes saw when you decided to draft that player. You evaluated them. You chose them over other people. And so now you have to trust that you made the right decision, and you have to give them the opportunity. Mm-hmm.
And when you give them the opportunity, you have to give them everything that they need in order to be successful. I can't just throw you out there and say, you don't have any experience, go out there, you'll be fine. Well, I don't know how to use the computer properly. I don't understand Microsoft. Let me teach you how to do it and then throw you out there. And now it's your opportunity to have success. And I think the Cardinals missed some of that. And hopefully they're kind of retracting and going back and giving those guys the opportunity to develop, showing them what they need. Now go perform.
To your point about the international market, too, I think they're off to a good start with that, at least, from this point moving forward. Pedro Strop, we remember him, Cubs pitcher. His son, Royelny, I think I'm saying that correctly. The Cardinals signed him. He is the 28th prospect in this year's group per MLB Pipeline. They also got Kenley Hunter, who is a right-handed hitting outfielder from Nicaragua. He ranks 37th overall. So, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is how far away are guys like that? That's where the patience, be patient, that's where that actually matters. Not we'll be patient with this ball club that we're watching now, going back to 2022, 2023. We saw with our own eyes that was not a competitive team. I don't want to hear that because we're watching in real time. This is not a good team. So, unfortunately, this is going to take time. It really is.
To do it right.
To do it right.
Take some time.
And it stinks, to be honest, because I think we all want to see a competitive ball club quickly. Now, maybe this team next season can do something, and maybe they become like the Detroit Tigers of last year. Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully that's the case. But I think for me, it starts with pitching. But then you also have to, at the same time, make sure that the guys right now that you're hitting on them. Because the last thing you need is to have some good pitchers in your pipeline without a right-handed or a left-handed hitting outfielder, and you go out when you think you're ready to compete again, and you go out and you trade your pitchers, and you basically do the exact same thing that you did a few years ago, which you're still being hurt from right now when you traded Zach Gallen and Sandy Alcantara for Marcell Ozuna.
Absolutely.
But I don't think they're in that position right now to do that. I think that the Cardinals are going to get out of this retool. It does start with pitching, and I'm pretty excited to see what they have out of these young guys because we haven't really seen them yet. We've seen them in the minor leagues, but we really haven't seen them at the major league level other than Michael McGreevy, who was pretty damn good last year in his few outings here in St. Louis. I'm excited about that guy. I want to see what he can do over a full year. Hopefully they give him the room to grow and the opportunity to be what he can be and put him in a spot to succeed. Same with all the other players. That's the key for me. You're talking about a retool, a youth movement. You have to stick with that because the Cardinals in the past have said one thing, done it for like a week, and then started to do something else.
They're trying.
That's when that's the true sign of you don't know what you're doing, And we all do it in our lives, right? I'm going to start this diet. I haven't lost any weight after 3 days. I got to change this thing up.
Start over.
Give it some time. Anything that's, it is true. It's cliched, but it's true. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing right, So I think that, yes, it is going to take some time. I agree. I also would love to see the Cardinals, God forbid, develop some pitching and not rush to, hey, we got to have a hitting now. Let's, like you said, trade the pitching.
Right.
You never have enough pitching, ever. I've been watching a baseball fair, a long time. You guys have too. Our listeners have as well. I've never seen a team have too much pitching, ever.
Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers.
Perfect example.
They were rolling guys out for a bullpen game in the World Series. How many starting pitchers do they have now? 12?
400.
They have so many, and they're probably all going to get hurt. But
that's why they got so many. That's why we have so many.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Get
out of here.
You throw me a lot of shade with the Chief stuff. At least I do it last year was just Super Bowl. This year I hopped on earlier. Yeah. You guys allowed me to. But you're continuing this stuff with the Dodgers.
I'm getting the Dodgers shirt, and I'm going to a Dodger game. I can have two teams. Jamie got 3 football teams. You know what? You don't have to. You don't have to suffer in life. You in a bad relationship? Don't suffer. Find a better relationship.
All right, you know what? This is what I'll do. I'll root for the.
That's not good at all.
I'll root for the Cardinals.
Staying in a bad relationship. I agree, Marshy. It's not.
I'll root for the Cardinals and anybody facing the Dodgers.
Oh.
That's now my team. Okay? So I have 29 teams. Anybody facing the Dodgers on a nightly basis, and I will root against them every single night.
You're going to be upset, buddy.
No, I'm not.
Carey, I thought
this
you
is
were
our year.
I thought your initials were CD, not KD.
Thank you.
Hey.
Yeah, just hopping on. I got a championship
Did he win
now.
a championship?
Yeah.
2 of them. And was the finals MVP.
Was it? Did he win 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got 2 of them.
How many did Jeremy Lin win?
Now I know he won 1.
I'll be honest, I couldn't remember either. When you said Jeremy Lin didn't win one, I'm like, no, he didn't. And I looked it up. I go, Toronto. Oh, boy.
I don't even remember him being on Toronto.
Everyone remembers him for Lin's sanity with the Knicks.
With the Knicks.
And then that was
the Rockets. I remember him with the Rockets.
Oh, he was with the Rockets. He was also with the Lakers.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I remember the Knicks and the Lakers. Had no clue that he was still playing.
I think he was
with the
on
Raptors.
Golden State, too.
I think he was for a second.
Yeah.
A hot second. We do have our sports six-pack coming up. 314-399-9646. CD has 2 football teams, Steelers and Ravens. Waterboy, well said.
I love the 618. I thought Kerry Davis grew up in St. Louis, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah. Where did you grow
I grew up
up?
in St. Louis, but I lived in L.A.
Oh, my God.
When did you live in L.A.?
I lived in LA for like a year.
When
That's
he
right,
was
you were an actor.
I was.
Actor slash singer slash songwriter.
Mm-hmm. What was your song? My Humps?
It was Bedroom, Anthony.
Bedroom, that's what it was. Yeah, I get that confused.
Yeah.
All right. You know me. I don't even know who Bad Bunny is. So, Sports Six-Pack is next on 101 ESPN.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kerry Davis, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Common Service text line 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
Question number 1.
All right, gentlemen, we've been talking college football all day long. From the 314.
Skip.
That's a different sport. Different sport.
Skip.
The ball is a little bit more rounder.
Basketball.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. 314. Do any of you guys think Notre Dame has a chance versus Ohio State, like a legitimate chance?
I do.
No.
2 reasons. Oh, Carey.
Give you 2 reasons.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore.
I forget Mr. Big Ten over here. Mr. Big Ten, SEC bias. Mr. Big Ten over here. Just every time we're talking college football, it all goes back to the conference he played for. You know, you don't hear me talking about the MAC.
I actually do hear you talking about the MAC a lot.
I couldn't even get it out. 2 reasons Notre Dame has a chance on Monday night. One of which I think I could persuade Mr. Kerry Davis to get on board with. 1, they play outstanding defense. 2, they run the ball. You play great defense and run the ball, including Riley Leonard, the quarterback, who got a little shake and bake to his game. If you knew those 2 things, always play. Right, Mr. Pittsburgh Steeler?
Yeah, I mean, this is the same Notre Dame team that you said stunk against Indiana, isn't it? Isn't that the same Notre Dame team? Didn't you tell me that?
What? What did I say?
Except for what? You said they stunk.
Oh, except for that 98-yard run by our boy.
Are you going to get another 98-yard run?
Yeah, probably.
Probably not.
Well, Kerry, we can go back a couple weeks before that. Ohio State looked like crap against Michigan.
How have they looked since the playoffs started?
How's Notre Dame look since taking on Indiana?
Boom.
After that game, looked okay. They should have lost. Penn State lost that game. Penn State ruined my national championship. It should have been 2 Big Ten teams facing off against one another. Game that's already happened this year. Penn State, Drew Aller, you're down. Sorry, you're tied. 4th quarter. Oh, just throw the ball to the other team. Let them kick a field goal to win the game. Dumb. Not a good play. Not great execution. Poor play by Penn State. You miss an opportunity to walk into the end zone. Running back drops a pass. Looked like Saquon Barkley versus the Atlanta Falcons. You hated that play. Loved this one. Didn't complete it. So on the running back, both occasions.
Said I love that one.
No. Yeah, you did. You sure did. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you watched that play like, oh, what is he doing? Why didn't he catch it? Same thing I said about Saquon.
You have to know what the situation is.
Well, they should have caught it, and they should have scored.
Falcons to take their final timeout. That game's over. But
should have caught it. Should have scored.
They didn't catch it, now did he?
One of those teams is in the playoffs, and one isn't.
That's right. Notre Dame is in the playoffs because Penn State fast-laned up.
The Eagles are, and the Falcons aren't. But Penn State should have won that game. Didn't see a lot from Notre Dame.
Carey.
They didn't ruin my national championship, prediction, my thoughts, my hopes and dreams. But
Walrus King is right. Typical Big Ten quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's one that people say is the greatest of all time, but what do I know? Drew Brees.
Joe Montana played for Notre Dame.
You know what I'm talking about. What's his name? What is it?
Dan Marino was at Pitt.
Nah, they don't call him the GOAT.
Patrick Mahomes, Texas Tech, Big 12.
They say he might be the GOAT if he takes over after this guy.
Peyton Manning was Tennessee.
Not him.
How many games and how well did the GOAT do in college?
Yeah, he barely played in college.
Did it matter? He was drafted in the 6th round. Went to Michigan. Michigan.
Oh, now you like
You're Michigan.
Now you like Michigan.
To me, Michigan. Sing the song. You're the one singing the song.
It's good to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's good to be a Michigan.
You know the song.
All right. Yes, Notre Dame absolutely has a chance. Mm-hmm.
Question number 2.
I thought you were from St. Louis. Got 3 St. Louis kids. Yeah, Frick James, great point. Kirk Cousins, Michigan State. I rest my case.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on from that, please. From the 314, which journeyman was more fun, Linsanity or Fitzmagic?
Oh, Linsanity had
That was yep.
You know, that was a pretty good.
That was a great one-hit wonder there. For I don't even. It wasn't a full season.
17 games. I think. He went off.
He was awesome. He was. He caught fire. Yeah. I got to go with Linsanity as well.
Definitely.
Former
Question
Toronto
number 3.
I know now.
NBA champion.
Won't catch me again.
Nah.
This is an interesting question from the 314. Since the running back position has a more versatile role in modern football, if you could rename the running back position, what would you call it?
Call him do everything back.
Say that again. Can you ask that again?
Yeah, so since the running back position has a more versatile role in modern football, if you could rename the running back position, what would you call it?
Just call them all. Call them everything. Call them the lifeline to your football team.
The utility back.
Nah, I don't like it. Utility feels like...
Yeah, but the utility belt is, like it can do... You got everything on that utility belt. Think of Batman.
Guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Some people don't think he's a superhero.
Well,
That's
not.
ridiculous.
He's just a rich man with tools.
He's a vigilante.
Yeah. He is a vigilante. Yep.
But he's a superhero. Come on.
Is he? Well, what's a superpower?
What's a superpower?
Yeah, that's
being wealthy, dude.
That's not a superpower.
Well, that's not a superpower. Then Elon Musk.
No, he can't fight though.
Yeah, you don't know that. You don't know that.
You don't know what he's doing in his off time.
You don't.
Yeah, he doesn't have a superpower. He doesn't have a superpower. He doesn't.
Daredevil's a superhero. He doesn't have a superpower. He's blind, but guess what he can do? Actually, kind of does though.
But he kind of.
He sees everything without seeing it.
Yeah. Well, when you lack one of your senses, the other ones become better.
What about the
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier. He's got superhero serum.
I don't think
super soldier serum.
Yeah. Well, I don't think.
What about Black Widow?
She's just a badass.
She's in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a superpower.
No, she doesn't. He's right. Well, then she's not either.
That's ridiculous. I just find
she's just a hero.
What about Green Arrow, Hawkeye?
Yeah,
I know you hate Hawkeye.
Well, I mean, he doesn't, like.
He's pretty good at the bow and arrow.
No, he is, but when he runs out of bows,
Captain America.
He never does, though. You ever notice, though?
Everything.
You ever notice that the people shooting bow and arrows in, like, whatever movie or TV show it is, they never run out of bow and arrows.
No.
Why is that?
They never even aim either, some of the time.
I feel like Katniss Everdeen never ran out of bow and arrows.
No. Really, she was always prepared, though.
Yeah.
But you know what they do? I feel like they pick them back up, but it's never on screen.
No, right. You don't see it. They have to, they're going for hours. Like, when they're off screen, that's when they're picking up all the bow and arrows.
Right.
Yeah.
573 says, weren't you just talking football? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this segment basically details what we do.
Yeah.
Tony Stark, not a superhero, I guess, in your eyes.
I don't know, though. I mean, he's no, he's not, I guess. Damn, it's kind of ruining the way I look at things now.
Batman is a superhero. He has a contingency plan for everybody, including the Justice League.
Splashback Deuce says Hawkeye had replacement arrows in his shoe. They showed up in Age of Ultron.
You don't remember that, Anthony? You just went on a binge.
Did you ever see the Saturday Night Live skit? And it's actually Jeremy Renner that plays Hawkeye? Mm-hmm. Where it's actually Jeremy Renner, he's hosting, and he's Hawkeye. And all the other superheroes are like, hey, do your thing. And do your thing, Hawkeye. He's like, I ran out of arrows. It's like, I'm done. I'll be in the truck. And the Hulk just uses Hawkeye. He swings his whole body to
get him where he needs to go.
And at the end, Hawkeye's like, you couldn't have done it without me. And whoever's playing Captain America says, no, we could have. We literally could have done it without you.
You ever wonder why wealthier people don't try to just become Batman?
They'd probably die.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like they would. They get shot, and that'd be it.
Well, not if you have like a Kevlar suit, right?
They get shot in the head.
Well, he's got like a helmet.
He got a
type
helmet.
thing.
Well, but his face is still
Yeah,
exposed.
get shot in the
That's
mouth.
true. You never really see that, do you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Anything.
unless you're The Rock and Faster, you get shot in the head twice, you're good. I mean,
I stopped watching Fast and Furious after like the first one. You said Faster?
this isn't even Fast enough. This is
No.
just Faster.
I've never seen that.
What is that? Is it a movie about The Rock playing a character going through some type of like jungle type thing?
Nope, he's not. Nope, he's not in a jungle. He's out of prison and he's searching for revenge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll like it. You guys would.
What do you think is the worst Rock movie that you've ever seen?
What's the one where he was the
Tooth Fairy?
Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, that one was
Oh, I
good.
like
the
that one.
skater when he's on the like the hockey player?
Oh no, I thought he was a
what's the hockey
football player.
What's the hockey player one?
No, that was. I think wasn't he a hockey player in Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, I thought
he
so.
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tooth
Yeah.
Fairy. I'm thinking of the game plan.
The game plan is he's a football player.
He's a football
he's
player.
a quarterback.
Yeah.
Which looks weird.
Yeah.
Like he is way too big to be a quarterback.
You think?
Yeah.
I was thinking of
The quarterbacks aren't
We
that.
made it back to football.
MD 2020 says walking tall. I didn't mind walking
I
tall.
liked Walking Tall.
Yeah.
I actually did like Walking Tall a lot.
Here's the thing. Anytime there is a movie where somebody's ticked off and then going after the people that wronged him,
Like
I don't
Reacher?
care how bad it is. Reacher, yeah, I'm in.
TV show, but yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
I'm all about revenge movies.
Yeah.
What's
all
that?
about it.
It was a video game that he turned into a movie, like Rumble, not Rumble. It was with the giant alligator and the giant.
Jumanji?
No, not Jumanji.
Jumanji was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's
the
like
new remakes of Jumanji, I thought they did a great job with that.
It's
Jack
like
Black is hilarious.
a movie. It's got this like giant like ape, and it's got like a lizard. It was a video game.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I never saw it though.
Oh, terrible movie.
Was it?
Oh, it was horrible. I can't remember the name of it though. It was a video game though. There was another character too.
Wasn't it like Rampage?
Rampage.
Splashback. That's all
Yeah.
Splashback Deuce.
Never saw it.
Yeah, I never saw it either.
That's
Rampage.
No, it's a good thing you didn't see it.
Happy Gilmore had a alligator, says the water boy. He's right.
Yeah. Then he died.
Oh. Well, spoiler
That's
alert.
right. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Carey.
Spoiler alert.
Carey.
What?
Please tell me you've seen that movie.
What movie?
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's still a spoiler alert.
No, Carey. That
94.
movie's older than me.
Eh. You think people got time to watch movies? They're too busy listening to the Fast Lane.
Not after this segment. All right. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Let's see what she says. Is this a Siskel and Ebert segment? Speaking of dead. It's no offense to say somebody's dead when they're dead.
They've been passed on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good 2 thumbs up. That's what they did, not that they're dead.
Good clarification on that. Real good clarification on that. All right. How will this college football season be remembered? Well, according to Carey, it won't be remembered by a Notre Dame victory.
Yep.
We'll have the discussion next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues take on the Calgary Flames once again tonight on 101 ESPN. You can listen to that one right here with the pregame starting at 6 o'clock. Puck drop is at 7. Like I said, we'll have pregame for you starting in about 21 minutes. So stay tuned after the show. Coming up next, we have some more college football. How will this college football season be remembered? We'll discuss it next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
On 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Just heard Marsh pose the question again in our Sports Center update. How will this college football season be remembered? I mean, obviously it's always going to be remembered by the fact that this was the first year that they expanded the playoffs. So let's just get that out of the way first. That's the obvious. What's the next thing that it'll be remembered? For me, it's going to be the most parody. It's going to be remembered as when parity really kicked off in college football. You know, like when parity was officially introduced to college football. Mm-hmm. And I also wonder, and I think we're going to talk about this more tomorrow, I also wonder if we look back at this was kind of the start of the end of the dynasty. You know, the beginning of the end of the dynasty.
For the SEC?
No, just any dynasty, any like multi-year run in college football. Because I could see the amount, like Ohio State, if they were to either one, Ohio State or Notre Dame, to win the national championship, to run it back. I think it's going to be harder now. Probably. Just like it's more difficult unless you're the Chiefs and you got Mahomes and Andy Reid and football gods are on your side. Maybe it's difficult. It's difficult to run it back in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen since the Buffalo Bills 4 straight Super Bowls in the early 90s. The Patriots didn't even do that.
Yeah.
And the Patriots were a dynasty. But I think it's going to be more difficult for teams to consistently get into, the semifinals in college football moving forward, like we saw Alabama and Clemson and Georgia do it for a stretch.
I agree. And with college football, it's going to be, I agree with you, it's going to be even harder because the amount of transition that takes place every offseason in college football is vastly different than in the NFL. NFL, you got at least, most people, 3-4 years, you're contracted. This college football landscape can change every single year. You can see a guy playing in a national championship for one team and then the following year playing for a national championship for another team because that's how much these teams have shifted. Caleb Downs is a perfect example. He was at Alabama last year. Now he's at Ohio State. Like, Alabama could have been in the national championship. They were in the Final Four last year. So
we saw our guy. Didn't Jamison Williams do that too?
Yeah, Jamison was with Ohio State.
They lost. Then he went to Alabama and won.
So the ability to change schools along with the people graduating and moving on, along with new players coming in every single year, the landscape of college football will be vastly different from year to year for each team. So I do believe that it's going to be difficult for one team to just kind of run through it every single year because the team is going to change every single year.
And I wonder how this season will be looked at from the standpoint of the coaches. Which coach is going to be the next top guy? Now, Kirby Smart is still with Georgia. Georgia had a fine season. They're not in the national championship, but they were fine, right? But there's no Nick Saban and there's no Harbaugh. Those two, in my opinion, were the top names in college football. How will college football go forward without some of the bigger known names to sort of usher in what could be a dynasty? I don't think that there will be a dynasty. And like you said, we'll get more into this tomorrow. But I wonder what the ramifications of those two guys leaving college football has on its game.
Yes, and I already think we've seen it. Yeah, it's a great point, Marsh. We saw really good coaches be fired because they couldn't beat Nick Saban, or because they weren't Nick Saban. So I think we're already seeing the ramifications of that. Yeah. Can Kirby Smart or can anyone for that matter, Marcus Freeman, Ryan Day, can these guys become what Saban was? I think that's the question. And I think Kirby Smart could do it. I don't know if anybody else could. Like Dabo Swinney, really good coach, but he wasn't able to do it. Turns out he had two really good quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that he recruited
at
Watson,
the college football level.
Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence, right? Yeah. Hey, he made the playoffs once. Yeah. Lawrence. Watson was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Then he had some off-field issues. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
Frick James says Belichick. LOL. That could be interesting.
That is a new development for sure, which could change things.
Could Belichick do at the college level what he did in the NFL? Subsequent question is, will he be there long enough?
I don't think I've said this. I don't think that he'll be able to do it. I think it's so different. It's different from like college football is different. The players are younger. Like it's a different mindset. We were talking about what makes college kids want to go to a specific school. Oftentimes it's not so much the football that's being played or the opportunity to go to the next level. It's about building their brand. How can I build my brand to be more noticeable, more recognized, get more opportunities to do these things? I think it's going to be a culture shock for Bill Belichick. I do. I mean, I could be wrong. But this is the same man that didn't allow players to have social media, to post when he was with the Patriots. That you couldn't, like, he was so buttoned up for that team that people felt like, oh, my goodness, I'm so happy to get out of there and actually live an NFL football life.
Right.
That is not going to work for 18-year-old to 22-year-old and sometimes 25-year-old college football players. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but we'll see how that works for old Bill Belichick.
Speaking of Bama, I wonder what the ramifications are of Alabama missing out on the college football playoff now that it has expanded to 12 teams, because they've been the cream of the crop. Even if they haven't won a national championship, they've been, in my opinion, the most relevant team in this century for college football. I wonder what that looks like. Can Kalen DeBoer keep them as a top program?
I think he can. Yeah. And I understand the nature, like the spirit of your question, Marsh. It's like, well, if they're not going to make the playoffs consistently, they're not going to be Alabama. Is he going to start losing these recruits? But
he's going to lose his job.
I think if you're Bama, you got to trust that you got the right guy. I mean, Kalen DeBoer, look what he did at Washington. I mean, that Washington team was legit. I know they lost pretty badly in the second half to Michigan last year, but they were really in that game until the fourth quarter. Yeah. There was a couple of big runs there that they gave up, but Kalen DeBoer did a tremendous job of recruiting at Washington. I think if you're Bama, you got to just say, hey, we got the right guy. We just got to be patient with this, because it hasn't been his recruiting class. You only have 1 year there. So I think he'll be fine. All right, we got Bet the Board. We've got 3 stars of the day and criticisms and compliments all coming up next on 101 ESPN. I love playing Underdog Fantasy, and you will too. You know, with their Champions game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. Looking at these divisional round games, I really like Travis Kelce to go higher than 5.5 receptions. Looking at some of that same game, how about Xavier Worthy? Higher than 57.5 rushing and plus receiving yards with the way he's come about. You can do those picks. You can combine something from the Texans side of things, or maybe you just want to choose one player per team to build your picks at Underdog. How you want to play is completely up to you, but it's that easy. Higher or lower. You could play NHL, NFL, NBA, college basketball. They've got it all. And you can combine, you could really, if you want to take one Travis Kelce, higher or lower play, and then combine it with something with the Blues tonight, great. You could do that at Underdog Fantasy. They're the only Champions platform that puts you the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. They've got that Underdog Rescues feature that I've talked about before. If a player gets hurt early in a game, you get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. I don't know anybody else that does that. Underdog Fantasy does that. Underdog, best place to play champions. Download the app. Sign up with my promo code Anthony. Again, sign up with the promo code Anthony and then deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly with that promo code. Once again, it's Anthony. Must be 18 or older, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast via the Dobbs Tire Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app or the 101ESPN.com website. The podcast brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Time to bet the board. Carey continues to roll, man. It's the month and the year of Carey Davis. Hey, Carey Davis.
You all didn't do that.
We didn't do that today.
That's why I lost.
That's why you lost.
Yep. That's why I lost.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, you're not going to lose tonight. What do you got for bet the board?
Give me Donovan Mitchell, 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Look at you. Nice play.
Thank you.
Anthony, I am going to take our St. Louis Blues minus 135 on the money line.
Whoa.
It's time. It's time for these guys to get going.
I'm going to go with Jordan Kyrou over 2.5 shots.
That's
minus 130.
That's what one of those finds at the back of the net.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Jamie wants revenge with his Tampa Bay Lightning pick the other night. He likes the Lightning minus 1.5 on the puck line tonight at a minus 120. Yeah, he's going right back to the well.
Right back to it, huh?
Yep. Went right back to it.
Yeah,
He loves riding the lightning. He's like Metallica.
Ride the lightning. Wow.
Yep. You can join the Fast Lane and the Rizzuto Show, Champ Bash, Hot Shots in Fenton next Sunday, January 26th. Hang with the members of both shows and watch the AFC and NFC Championship games. Plus, enjoy bucket specials, delicious food, tons of TVs to watch the games, giveaways throughout the day, and the Pick'em Challenge punishment for the Rizzuto Show live on site. Champ Bash kicks off with a live 2-hour pregame show at 11 a.m., and the fun continues until the NFC and AFC champs are crowned. Don't miss this year's Championship Bash with 101 ESPN and the Rizzuto Show at Hot Shots Fenton next Sunday, January 26th. Get all the details now at 101ESPN.com. 3 stars of the day. Go.
All right, our third star of the day goes out to Carey Davis and his song, My Humps.
There you go. Nice job. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that was it. Yep. I remember.
Check him out.
Okay. Do you remember the time when Carey sung that?
No.
Rhyme. Huh?
So do you remember the time I said Carey Davis sung that rhyme?
That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, second star of the day goes out to Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bo.
April
1st. April 1st of every year.
Wow. Yeah.
Deferred payments.
Yep, absolutely.
Deferred payments, yeah. Him and Shohei had a combo, I'm sure.
By the way, Jamie wants the Leafs on the money line.
Oh, I thought he wanted the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I misread it. Oh. He's not riding the Lightning. He's not Metallica. He's riding the Leaf.
Yeah, the jerseys are very similar. I can see where the confusion was. First star of the day, of course, goes to Bob Uecker.
Yeah, Bobby Uecker.
Yeah,
Harry Doyle himself.
Outside.
Yep. How are the hitters laying off pitches that close? Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. Rest in peace, Bob Uecker. We've got the Blues pregame show in less than 5 minutes. So Blues pregame for the Blues and Flames right here on 101 ESPN starting at 6 o'clock. Puck will drop at Enterprise Center at 7 o'clock. You'll hear from guys like Alex Ferrario, Joe Vitale, Grant Francis, and the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber, who joined us earlier today. It is the Riz Show. It's Riz Show night, presented by the Fastlane at the Blues game. So, for Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Blues pregame now. See ya.